Good time zone, everybody. Welcome to Questing for Glory, Hope, and Healing Marathon. I am Panda Rag Dave, and I will be your host for this upcoming run of Keitai, Denjuu, Telefang by DeJumbi. First, I want to say thank you to everybody who's here at least for me, the late night shift, and everybody who has been donating, all the runners, all the support staff, everybody doing a phenomenal job. Let me get some thanks in chats for them because it's a thankless job for the most part. Show them the love. Show them everything you've got. Real quick, I just want to let you know what we're here for. This is a charity marathon. We are supporting NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization, whose work is focused around three pillars: education and support, awareness, and advocacy. Advocacy. NAMI engages in federal advocacy and supports NAMI state organizations in their state-level advocacy efforts. 1 in 5 Americans live with a mental health condition. Fewer than 50% of adults living with these conditions will receive treatment each year. Many factors contribute to this, including stigma, lack of access, and lack of knowledge and resources. So please, we have so many naming incentives for this coming run. Donate, 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 donate. Take care of yourself first, but also donate for charity, because it's a good thing. And if we are ready, let us bring in this coming run of Keitai, Denjuu, Telefang. DeJumbi and Egg McMuffin, if you'd like to take it away.
Good early morning / evening / whatever time it is, wherever you are. Welcome to Keitai, Denjuu, Telefang. I am DeJumbi, and I am joined today by my lovely commentator,
Egg McMuffin.
Hey, that's you. So, why don't let's go ahead and get started, because the game starts with a quite long, unskippable cutscene, and of course, I need to know, Dave, if you will, can you please tell me what the winning name for the file name is? And of course, what time is it? It's always this time.
4:20, baby.
All right, one last refresh says it is B with 3 exclamation points.
What a beautiful name. What a beautiful, beautiful name. All right, so B with 3 exclamation points. 1, 2, 3. Just like this.
That's it.
All right. Then I guess we are ready to get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's Telefang.
Let's Telefang.
All right. So this, welcome to Telefang. Essentially, what me and Egg McMuffin are going to be doing, we're going to be explaining this game as if all of you at home have played Pokemon. Because this is very much Pokemon, but based around cell phones, essentially. So, the Pokemon in this game are called Denjuu, and instead of capturing the Denjuu, we are actually going to be getting their phone numbers and calling them when we want them to battle with us. And the trainers in this game are called the T-Fangers. And let's see, what else do we need to describe? This giant tree that you are currently seeing on your screen, these are known as the antenna trees. In the world of Telefang, these work like both cell towers as well as two-way warp portals, basically, that you can use to navigate between towns, or in this case, from the human world to the Denjuu world. The Denjuu society is, as I would say, much more akin to the Digimon society in the digital world than it is Pokemon. So the Denjuu have houses. They all speak. In this case, they are speaking English because we're playing on the English patch. And yeah, they have full autonomy. They don't get captured. They give you their phone number, and if you want them to come fight with you, you got to call them up and hope that they can get there in time. Which is the kind of the biggest difference between the battle system of Pokemon in this game, is that you have one Denjuu that's always following you, and otherwise, if you're going to have anyone come and fight with you, you got to call them up, and if they are in a faraway location, let's say they're from a town that's like 3 miles away, it's going to take them 3 turns to get there. But if they are located in the same area, the same dungeon, the same town that you're currently in, then they'll be there immediately. So there's a lot of strategy that comes along with that. And so we are about to get our first Denjuu, and it's our good friend, Fungus. You will never see Fungus again. So I hope that you enjoyed looking at Fungus there, because we're not going to use him. We are essentially going to cheat. Egg McBuffin, while I'm doing a few things here, would you like to explain the bootleg? Actually, before you explain the bootleg version of this game, let me go ahead and cheat real quick. So, there are a number of secret Denjuu in this game that their phone numbers were given out in the accompanying manga for this game. Manga, apologies. And so one of them I'm going to call up right now, and I need to finish dialing its phone number. And I put it in wrong, that's why. There we go. 05 pound 546 star 69 star 23. There we go. So we're using some secret Denjuu, and they gave out these secret Denjuu telephone numbers in the accompanying manga for this game. And essentially, these Denjuu completely break the beginning of this game because they're level 50, and obviously that's a little bit of a high level for the beginning of a JRPG. And so we're going to use especially the first one that we just dialed up, Ornithogallum, to completely ruin the beginning of the game. So we're going to go ahead and switch to him by calling him up. Here he comes. We gotta dial that number. There he is. Are we calling you over? Yes. And so we are switching him out. There we go, and we've already turned off battle animation, so we are ready to get going. So, first thing we need to do is we need to go into the store and buy a Game Boy without talking to the lady. There we go. Is that okay? Yes, it is. Thank you very much. So yeah, while I'm kind of walking over to the first main story event of the game, Egg McBuffin, would you like to explain the notorious bootleg version of Telefang that some people might have heard about?
Absolutely. I'll also tell them why we are not using the bootleg version for the speedrun.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yes. So I believe the bootleg version, if you've heard of this game, you've probably heard of it as, I believe, Pokemon Diamond and Jade. It was basically this game translated into Chinese, translated into English, and it's akin to other bootleg games where everything becomes a non sequitur. I believe tea fangers are called like tea fungus or like tea mildew or something.
Tea mildew are the name of the trainers in the bootleg version.
So the bootleg version has a lot of text issues, and it just has tons of bugs. You can't actually save in it, and if you try to call up any of these secret, you can save.
You just can't load the save.
Oh, that's right. So you can save all you want, you just can't reload the saves. And of course, you can't call up any of the secret Denjuu. So this
if you try to do
realm,
that, game crashes. Oh,
Yeah.
Speaking of getting phone calls, so periodically, what's happening right now on the screen is going to happen, and we receive a random phone call from one of the Denjuu we have their phone number of. While that phone is ringing, we cannot get into a random encounter. So what you're going to see me doing throughout the game is when I go around and I beat up the Denjuu we run into in a random encounter and they give me their phone number, ideally, I'm going to save almost every phone number that I can. And that's going to increase the number of phone calls that I get throughout the game, and that's going to hopefully come in real handy in a few dungeons where the encounter rate is just through the roof. So right there, I saved Oshi's number, and now here's our first trainer battle. And before you fight in a Telefang battle, you got to say, "Let's Telefang."
Let's Telefang!
All right, so a couple of things to note. Ornithogallum, who I refer to as Orny because it's much easier to say. Orny has a personality type in the game that causes him to sometimes attack on his own. So he'll just do the first attack in his list of commands, which fortunately is a good attack. So that's usually not a problem, but sometimes it can be if we're trying to get a particular Denjuu from a trainer fight. Pretty much all the personality types in this game are bad. They either cause your Denjuu to just attack using its first move without you really wanting him to. They can also just not attack at all, which the other secret Denjuu we called, that's his personality type. He just sometimes will straight up not attack. Other personality types, if you call them up to have them fight with you, they will be more likely to be late to battle. There's basically no good personality types. The thing, though, is that as you fight with a Denjuu more and more, you build up friendship points. And so the more friendship points you have, the less likely those negative personality traits are to show up. So since we're going to be using Ornithogallum as our lead Denjuu throughout basically the entire game, And so, fortunately, that means that his friendship value is going to go up and up throughout the game, and he won't just randomly attack on his own very often. And now we get the key. This is very important. So
Remember
please
to get
chat.
the key.
Whenever I'm in a new dungeon, and you can tell it's a dungeon because it, looks something like this, please remind me to get the key. I'm notoriously bad at remembering to get the key, and now that I'm fully commentating the game, along with Egg McMuffin, of course, I almost guaranteed will forget to grab the key at some point. Alright, so... and I'll explain a little bit more about kind of these battle screens coming up in just a second here. I'm going to go ahead and use the key, walk over to the right to make sure that the main character, B's sprite, is directly in line with our dialogue right here. Otherwise, you have to waste a little bit of time to get in the right position. I see somebody's asking, is this a Poke clone after the success of Pokemon Game Boy games? Basically, yes. And in fact, it came in 2 versions, Power and Speed. But since we're speedrunning this, we're using Speed version, baby.
Of course.
We don't have any time for that Power version. All right, so our first boss fight. So when you start the fight, I'm gonna slow down a little bit here to explain. And you say fight. Here's where you can actually pick a Denjuu to call up. The number at the far right, 01 for most of these, 02 for Fungus and this person over here. That's the number of turns it will take them to get there. We're not going to be using them though, because we're much stronger than these guys. You'll also notice that the boss that we're fighting, their Denjuu has it's got a little bar at the bottom that says how long it's going to take them to get there. So as long as we get the first hit in that fight and actually land the hits, then we don't have to worry about their other Denjuu showing up. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Usually, after a trainer battle, whatever Denjuu you defeat last will give you its phone number. There's a few exceptions. One of the exceptions is that first dungeon right there. So none of the trainer battles in there will give Denjuu telephone numbers. But in almost all the other ones, they will. There's also the tournament arc. The Denjuu there do not give you their telephone numbers. The other thing about the start of these battles, you can choose to either fight or run away. And running away at the very beginning of these battles, there's basically a set chance that you actually run away. It's like 1 in 8 or something. But the greater Telefang community doesn't really know how running away works. So I just kind of assume it's something like 1 in 8. When that fails, you get to that screen that tells you to select a Denjuu to come and help you fight. And then when you're fighting, you can also try to run away then. And the running away after you begin the fight seems to be based on the Denjuu that you're fighting. And again, no one really knows. It's just kind of based on what I can tell from running this game over and over again, what seems to happen. This is our first forced encounter, and look at that. We won the encounter because we're level 50, and everything else around here is like level 5. So that's kind of nice. The tall grass in this game that we just walked through does not affect your encounter rate whatsoever. It does slow you down a little bit, and as you're running through it, also coins and hearts can pop out, so sort of Zelda-ish in that way. And hearts will regenerate the HP of your lead Denjuu, the ones following you around, and the little coins that pop out, of course, give you money. We don't really need money in the speedrun. We buy exactly 2 things. We bought the Game Boy at the very beginning for a story trigger later on. We're also going to buy a frying pan later, and I'll kind of explain that when we get there. The lead Denjuu, after each battle, whatever its HP is at, that's going to be the same after that battle. But any Denjuu that you call up during that fight to come and help you, their HP is going to reset. So if you call up a Denjuu and it gets knocked out, and you go and have to fight again, and you call that Denjuu, its HP will be back to full HP. But our lead Denjuu, Orny, if he gets hit really hard, his HP is going to be consistent between fights. So if he gets almost knocked out, then right after that fight, he's still almost completely knocked out. The only way to recover that HP, there are no HP restoring items. You can either go around and get hearts, or you can just stand there and wait. And for the most part, if that happens in this run, we're going to be standing there and waiting, because there's no tall grass in the dungeons where we're actually worried about Ornithogalum's health. So there's that. And so what's going on in the plot? Egg McMuffin, you've played this game casually a lot more recently than I have. If you want to kind of explain what's going on here.
Certainly. So when I explain this plot, it's going to sound made up. But the dungeon we were in, you were fighting basically a political party that was trying to have their leader elected as the prime minister of the Denjuu world. And they were going to do that by monopolizing the town's river to open up a curry shop to give them really good curry. None of the Denjuu really know what curry is, but they seem pretty okay about it, but they're not happy that their water supply is being cut off. So right now, the political party is doing some more mischief. They've stolen an important item, and now they're just hiding in this cave.
Yes, they've stolen the key to the antenna tree in this particular town. So we need to go in, we need to get it back. So, Chad, if you could, please remind me to grab the key. And here comes our first trainer battle, where at the end of this battle, we will get the phone number of the Denjuu that we're fighting. So, Rodanthe here is a Sky-type Denjuu. Ornithogalum is a Mountain-type Denjuu. And in this game, Mountain beats Sky-type. In fact, I tried to rememorize all the type advantages. Let's see if I can remember them. So, Mountain beats Sky. Sky beats Forest. Forest beats Water. Water beats Desert. Desert beats Grassland. And Grassland beats Mountain, which beats Sky, which beats Forest. And it's a big circle like that. So all of these kind of bird or tornado-looking enemies in here, they are Sky-typed. So Orny not only is over-leveled by a considerable margin at this point in the game, but also he has type advantage over them. Now, this dude that we're fighting is Mountain-type. But again, Orny is over-leveled by a significant degree, so we're basically gonna one-shot almost everything we run into for the first hour or so of this game. So, onward and upward through this dungeon, we are coming up to the first, real glitch in the game. So, these patrolling guards here, if you talk to them, you've got to fight them. And normally, you've got to fight at least one of them to get past. However, if we save and reset the game, that's going to reset the NPC's position on screen, but it does not reset our position. So behold, now we are behind that NPC and we skip the fight. And we're going to be doing that a few times during this run. In fact, we're going to be doing it again pretty shortly here. And our first successful runaway. Fantastic. So here's what I'm going to do in this game. Every time we get a successful initial runaway, like we just did, I am going to, now I'm a grad student, so I don't have that much money. I'm going to donate $1 to NAMI for every successful initial runaway. So we're at 1 so far. So if anyone in chat is also willing to accept this challenge, please join me in donating $1 to NAMI every time I get a successful runaway. The average for my runs is somewhere in the range of 12 to 15. So if you got some spare change to spare, NAMI is a wonderful organization and can definitely use those $12 to $15 for sure. That's what I'm talking about, Professor Palmer. I appreciate that.
I will also
I will be entirely relying on you to tell me that's 2 successful runaways, but I'm going to lose track very quickly. So if you can keep me honest with the number of successful runaways I'm getting here, that would be super cool.
I have
so
a little
here comes
counter.
Our next boss fight. It's the same person we just fought. And in this boss fight, the nice thing is, even if we miss our first attack, because you always have a 1 in 10 chance of missing. There's not unlike in Pokemon where the moves have accuracy, every move is pretty much the same accuracy. It's just, there's a 1 in 10 chance of you missing. But even if we miss our first attack in this particular fight, the boss's other 2 Denjuu do not show up for 3 turns. So we're in no danger of having a slow version of this fight. So that's pretty exciting. And I think with that, unless you can think of something we have not explained yet, I think this would be a good time to throw it over to our host, Dave, for a few minutes here.
Yeah, I think that's good. I have a little bit of trivia after Dave hits those.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so Dave, hey, if we have a couple of donations, I think 2 would be perfect. Otherwise, let's hear about some NAMI stuff.
I definitely have one. We have $5 from Sindrina. If I win Ellie's slime, will he sign it for me? Great marathon, great cause.
This is a great marathon, a great cause.
Great.
So now we are at the town by the sea. And Eggmuffin, what is its name?
Iris!
What am I fighting for?
What am I fighting for?
Here's why we picked up the Game Boy earlier. It was to give to this blue Denjuu over here, Liriope, Lyrope, whatever it's pronounced as. I'm not really 100% sure. But this friend over here. And so, by giving him the Game Boy, that allows us to advance with the plot, and he essentially gives us the ability to surf anywhere. So now we can walk in the water. Unfortunately, though, coming up, there's going to be a lake dungeon, or a lake area. Please excuse me, green octopus. And we can't walk in that water, unfortunately. But all the other water in the game we can now walk in. So we're going to be able to use that to our advantage a couple of times in the run. Otherwise, like, we have to walk in this water to get to the next point in the plot. So that red octopus up there, we need to go and talk to. Because essentially, the thing we're doing in this town, the town by the sea, Iris, is we need to go and unlock their antenna tree as well. And instead of a key that we need to unlock this antenna tree, we need to go and press a giant red button in a cave. So this octopus happens to have the only way to get to the cave in this town. So we're gonna convince them to let us get into the cave. And now we're gonna walk back over to the octopus's house. And again, we're kind of hoping that we get a phone call at some point when we're walking in areas where we get into random encounters. And the way that random encounters work in this game, again, the tall grass does not affect the random encounters that you get into, or your, oh, there we go, or the amount of random encounters that you get, the encounter rate, if you will, but how far away you are from, like, the buildings in the town is what determines your encounter rate. So if you are within a certain range of the buildings, you won't get an encounter. If you are away from the buildings, you will, or if you're in a dungeon, you'll get into an encounter. So a pretty simple random encounter system in that case. So now we've been teleported over here to the cave, and now it's time. And there's our phone call, not a useful one. We've hit the big red button. We've done it, and now we can keep going. So this phone call that we're getting here is a story phone call, so that doesn't really count. If we get a phone call at an inopportune time, like let's say we have to go and talk to somebody to get a battle to start, to cancel out of a phone, like a random phone call it's ringing, you can open up the menu or the map and that'll cancel it out, which is kind of nice. And then otherwise, if you go to a new area, so if you walk into a new doorway or whatever, that will cancel out the phone call as well. Let's see if we can run away from Mantea. We could not, so that means we're going to beat him up. Now, I can't remember if we've actually already beaten up a Mantea or not and gotten its phone number. If we have, this one's not going to give it to us again. And we probably already have one. So when you have a certain species of Denjuu's phone number, the likelihood of that Denjuu giving you its phone number again drops significantly. It can still happen, but it's extremely rare. So we probably won't see that again. At least from Mantea.
A level difference thing as well. I think like when you face them again and they're like 20 levels over than the one that you first encountered, you also have a pretty a higher chance of getting it.
That is also very true. That is very true. So here's our first boss fight with the character Kai, and please enjoy this sort of cutscene here, because that's, other than a nice picture of a tree, that's pretty much the only cutscene in the game, is that nice picture of Kai there. So Kai is going to be fighting us with Gymnos. Gymnos is effectively like the Lugia or Ho-Oh of this game, sort of the legendary Denjuu. But as you can see, we're a little bit stronger still, because we're using a very powerful Denjuu that's at level 50, and that's still very over-leveled for this point in the game. Speaking of the different ranks of Denjuu, Egg McBuffin, I think this is more of your wheelhouse of explaining, because it's not like Digimon where it's like rookie, champion, ultimate, mega, and it follows that nice order there. The rankings of the Denjuu are all over the place. But actually, if you'll hold on to that thought for a second, I forgot. I need to go and buy the frying pan now. So I'm gonna go into this store, and here's a frying pan. I'm gonna purchase it. The reason I'm purchasing it is because you can give items to your Denjuu, and it will, if they like the item especially, it's going to increase the number of experience points they get every battle. We're not going to give them the revolver, though. There are a number of strangely photorealistic weapons you can give the Denjuu in this game, too.
A lot of guns.
Ornithogalum's favorite item is a frying pan, which it never rains in this game, so we cannot make it into a drying pan, unfortunately. But giving
Okay.
Orny the frying pan here just increases the experience he gets from every battle throughout the game. And yeah, there's a lot of strange there's a lot of strange weapons here. It's pretty weird. There's some photorealistic missiles. I think there are multiple types of guns.
Yeah,
that
there's
you
like
can
a
give your
Gatling
Denjuu, but you
gun.
can also, and this is actually perfect because we're in the tournament arc, so I'm just going to be going through and fighting these people. Eggmuffin, if you want to explain the evolution system and the weird rankings of the Denjuu, this is the perfect time because I'll focus on finishing up these fights.
Certainly. So with the Denjuu all have very like specific. Every time you get a phone number, you'll see like a little thing that'll say like cultivated Denjuu or like big Denjuu or something or like techno Denjuu, and all those names like mean something. Like if you evolve a cultivated Denjuu, it'll become like a specific other kind of Denjuu. If you evolve certain Denjus, they evolve by leveling up, and then some Denjus evolve by DNA. Basically, the DNA, you collect it from the Denjus that level up and give it to the Denjus that evolve via DNA. And so once you know like that pattern, it's pretty easy to like figure out how a Denjuu evolves. Except for all the like techno ones. All the techno Denjuu, super machine Denjuu and stuff like that, you just have to like figure out, oh, I just have to combine this Denjuu with a missile and then it'll become something else.
And he's not exaggerating. That's literally combine it with a missile. Here's
Yeah,
actually our first fight where we don't one-shot our opponent. That's because Licorice here is grassland type, and grassland is strong against mountain, so the grassland type moves will all do double damage to Ornithogallum, and Ornithogallum will only do half damage to all the grassland types. There's an example of me having to cancel out of a phone call because I need to talk to these two gentlemen over here to get this fight going. And if I just pressed the A button while that phone call was going, instead I would answer my phone and start talking to whatever Denjuu called me, which that's actually... Eggmuffin, would you like to explain the what happens when you answer the phone and a Denjuu is calling you?
It's probably, casually, it's probably one of the more fun parts of the game. Just like the Denjuu calls you and like asks you really bizarre questions. I've had a Denjuu just say like, hey, this other Denjuu likes tires or something. And once I had a Denjuu call me and like quiz me on the Story Stone soup, like, hey, what did the first person bring to this soup in the Story Stone soup? So there's a lot of just like weird non sequiturs that they're trying to call you and talk to you about. It's great.
And don't even get me started on what they say in the bootleg versions of this game, because everyone in that game just trying to decipher what on earth they're talking about is completely impossible, but very funny. It's worth a look if you're in for a couple hours of humor, but don't try to beat the game in that version, because again, you can save, but you can't load your save, and you're not going to know what's happening. So, we just beat the tournament. Hooray us, we're the champs. And now, because the tournament's over, we can use this special shortcut to get out of tournament land over here and on to the town of Baran. So, here's a Berselia, and later on in the game, probably about 45 minutes from now, you're going to be able to name a Berselia we're going to catch. So don't forget to donate to some of those really nice naming incentives. I think most of them only have like $5 or so towards them. So if there's a silly name that you want some of our Denjuu to have, this is your perfect opportunity to get those silly names in. Yeah, so I always use the word catch when I'm talking about these Denjuu, but that's just because it's, you're used to Pokemon. You're not used to Telefang quite as much, so saying catch is kind of the easier way to go about it. But we're gonna get their phone number and use them in battle. So let me tell you about the town of Baran over here. There are two types of Denjuu that live in this town. There are the bird Denjuu, like the person we're talking to right now, and there are also the snake Denjuu. The snake Denjuu and the bird Denjuu are currently not getting along. And that's unfortunate because as long as they're not getting along, they have locked their antenna tree, which means we cannot get to the next town that we want to go to. So we were just talking to the bird elder in there, and the bird elder is willing to make a truce with the snake elder. So we're gonna go and talk to the snake elder and see if he will agree to the truce as well. So here's the snake elder's house. You'll notice most of the houses in this game are pretty pretty consistently decorated. The Denjuu know what they like, and they like 5 palm trees and a bed. So you're gonna be seeing that quite a bit in these Denjuu houses. The Snake Elder, as you can see, is not quite as willing to negotiate as the Bird Elder is, but luckily now he's come to his senses, and so he agrees that yeah, he'll make a truce with the Bird Elder, but only if we can bring him a plush toy. Ornithogallum likes frying pans. The Snake Elder likes plush toys. Like, it's just, it's one of those things in Telefang that just, that's how it is. So now we need to go back and talk to the Bird Elder to see if we can get a plush toy from him so that we can end this conflict and move on with our lives. So, but oh no, it turns out the Bird Elder, he doesn't have a plush toy. There's only one person in the village that did, and they just moved out. They talked to us while we were kind of showing up to Baran a second ago. So that means we have to walk all the way back to where we were just doing the tournament. So, Dave, I think this is the perfect time for you to take it away.
Alrighty. Well, first we've got $50 donation from Night Flyer. No comment, but thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Night Flyer. That's very generous of you.
And like we mentioned, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more naming incentives, and all of them are only sitting here about $5. So if you want to have a silly name show up on this stream, there's your chance to do it.
This is the perfect time. And also, so when Dave says, like, we don't have any donations right now, that also means, like, if you make, like, a $1 donation, the chances of your donation being read are astronomical. Go for it. Say a silly thing that you and your friends back home can say, oh wow, that was funny that you donated, and the host actually said that. Haha. Like, you can make Dave say, like watermelon over and over again if you want to. It's a really cool thing to do. Try it out. It's really, and plus it all goes to a really good cause. So more than just making Dave say funny things, it goes to a great cause of NAMI. Every little bit helps, and we really appreciate y'all doing that.
My shame threshold is already quite low, and for charity, I'm willing to help. I'm willing to take that bar even lower.
That's what I'm talking about. So here we are at our friend that happens to... Oh, great. Our friend that happens to have the plush toy just flew away. But luckily he landed. This is the first battle that the Denjuu actually outspeeds us, so that's kind of interesting. And but luckily we still are much stronger than they are, so yay. And so now we have the plush toy again. Or we have the plush toy for the first time. And now we can walk all the way back to Baran and give it to the Snake Elder. So once again, Dave, if you would like to say anything about NAMI, this is the perfect time.
Well, in fact, if you did not know, NAMI operates a national helpline available Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which provides information, referrals, resources, and a compassionate, understanding trained volunteer to support the caller.
Keep it going. We got probably 3 or 4 minutes of just walking right now.
Alrighty. You may have noticed talk about incentives and prizes. This means that you get to vote with your wallet to name characters, get awareness to complete difficult or ridiculous tasks, or help pick which story you get to see in certain games. You can also become eligible to win prizes donated by community members, and all donations go to NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. For more information, type !donate in chat.
I think we got time for one more blurb if you would like.
Alright, well, let's thank our logo and promotional banner artist, Kevin. You can find him on Twitter at KButzKorner, KButzKorner. He's done all of our artwork since the first Questing for Glory in 2017. Go, Kevin.
Yo, shoutouts to Kevin. Thank you very much. The art looks incredible. So we've just talked. So we have to go talk to the Bird Elder before we can come up here and talk to the Snake Elder. And I kind of messed up my movement tech, getting between those snakes. What a shame. But so now we are talking to the Snake Elder. And the Snake Elder is very pleased. We've brought him a plush toy. All is right with the world. And now we can finally continue on to our next destination, which happens to be Ion Island. Now on Ion Island, they're having some problems here. Essentially, actually, Eggmuffin, you explained the plot here extremely well. I will let you tell the folks at home what's going on here.
So, this might have happened to you in real life, but apparently 2 companies are having what I can only really describe as an actual physical war or conflict over being the service provider for this island. So there are two cell phone companies using conflicting signals on each other, and everyone on the island is just incredibly angry that they can't use their cell phones. So now you have to find a Denjuu who can disrupt these signals, so you can basically have everyone happy again and use their cell phone.
And so luckily our friend Mio over here in this house that we're talking to, our friend from Human World, just happens to know a Denjuu that can help us out. And so now we are going to actually backtrack all the way to Iris. And so that is a nice long walk to Iris. And Eggmuffin, is there anything that we have not explained that you think we should explain?
So I do have a couple interesting facts about this game. Now that people have seen the battle system a bit, it is, if you've ever played the Metabots game for the Game Boy Advance, or any of the Metabots games for the Game Boy or Game Boy Color, the same development studio made these two games, and so the battle system is very similar. So there aren't really like turns. It's a very like pseudo real-time kind of battle system, and keep that in mind because that comes into play much later with status effects and things like that.
Correct.
I did have another thing. Someone in the chat said that one of the monsters' names should have been Lycaris. I'm probably saying that wrong. Like the red spider lily. Yeah.
But it's funny to call him Licorice, because it's like, that's not his name. Haha.
That's true. But just to point out that if you're big on botanical terms, a lot of the Denjuu are named after like botanical terms or flowers, even though it like doesn't really seem appropriate sometimes.
Yeah, or isn't Ornithogallum a flower?
I believe so.
And if you're looking at Ornithogallum's battle sprite, which is like, he's basically like a centaur, except instead of having the body of a man attached to a horse's body, it's just like a body of an extra horse attached to a horse's body. So shout out for a very interesting design on Ornithogallum here. So here's our friend Noisy that we have to convince to join us. And to convince Noisy to join us, we're gonna beat him up. The species that Noisy is a Lamperga, so it's, or Lampgera, so its nickname is Noisy. That's why I'm calling him that. And look, we have their number now. Fantastic. And now, guess what? It's time to walk all the way back.
Yeah.
Very exciting stuff. One thing I should mention is that there are two movement speeds in this game, so I'm holding down the B button pretty much constantly in this speed run in order to run, which is really nice. Like, compared to like Pokemon Gold and Silver and Blue, like, we're moving at the speed of light, which is really, really convenient. So, but yeah, just holding down B will allow us to do that. And also, to advance text at the speed of light, which we're also pretty consistently doing, all you have to do is hold down B and A. So I'm really not mashing at any point, and my thumb is very, very thankful for that. So if you don't like mashing, but you would like to run a JRPG, this is the game for you. And there are currently only 3 runners of this game, like, period. And as far as I know, I'm the only one that's active. So if you're seeing this game, you're like, yeah, this looks pretty fun to run. It seems like it's nice that you can like go through the first hour of the game without having to really try because your Denjuu just completely destroys everybody. I could probably do this. Please do. I'm really hoping that we find the next great Telefang runner somewhere in this stream. That would be fantastic. Plus, there's a lot of things we still don't understand, like exactly how do those phone calls work? We know that it increases with the more Denjuu you have, but how does it work? Someone with more tech skills than I do can figure that out. All right, so we're back at Ion Island. So now we need to switch our lead Denjuu to Lamperga, aka Noisy, and this is the only time that Orny is not going to be our lead Denjuu. So we pull the switcheroo because we need Orny to be in lead to do this cutscene right here. And while this cutscene's going on, I'm going to take off my jacket because it's really warm in the room that I'm in.
If I may.
Please do.
DeJumbi, what have you done? Oh, okay. Are you ready? We have
yes. I'm so excited.
We have $6 from Anonymous. So excited to see Buddy running for charity. We have $10 from Sorta with no comment. Thank you very much for your donation.
Thank
we
you
have
very
$25 from Anonymous saying watermelon over and over. And we have $10 from L Magus. Watermelon, 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 watermelon.
Well done, my friend. So I've just made a slight mistake here. So I'm going into this fight, and I forgot to switch back to Ornithogallum. Now, luckily, Noisy can hold his own, especially because his main attack can sometimes cause paralysis, and also he's a little bit overleveled. But I do need to now switch back to Ornithogallum. So let me go ahead and do that. There we go. So there we go. We have switched back to Ornithogallum. Lamperga, or Noisy, is at level, I think, 33, which is still, like, at this point in the game, really, really high leveled. So casually, he's fantastic for this part. So what we're doing now at Ion Island is all of these goons of the two competing cell phone companies. We need to beat all of them up, and that'll kind of get us to the next story trigger of the game. Casually, if you are on Ion Island and you haven't gone to get Noisy yet, you can beat these guys up as many times as you want and just rake in experience points, which is really nice because these forced Denjuu encounters and actual trainer battles, they give you significantly more experience than just a random encounter. So that can be really, really nice for this time of the game. If you need to do some quick grinding, this is a great place to do it. And we're going to be doing this battles in sort of a set order here. We're going to go in kind of a clockwise rotation around this area of Ion Island because we need to finish up at that house right there that you can see to your right. So in order to do that, we're just going to go in a nice clockwise rotation here. And I guess there's a tiny little bit of strategy on this particular screen after I defeat Obana here. There we go. So that green, like, tornado-looking guy over here, I'm going to stand right here, and that's going to, now, the next battle I'm going to get into is literally right above where my sprite is, so it just saves, a tiny little bit of time to do that. So, and all of these forced Denjuu encounters, we cannot get their phone numbers from these battles. Also, you might now notice that the kind of the lighting at Ion Island is a little bit different now, and that's because it is 5 a.m. in the game, and this game does have a day-night cycle that's based on real time, just like Pokemon Gold and Silver. However, unlike those games, as far as I know, it basically doesn't do anything other than, it's a nice cosmetic change from night till day, and later on in the game it'll kind of go from morning until to like daylight. So it's a nice little cosmetic touch, but does not affect the Denjuu that you run into in the wild, and I don't think there are any events in the game tied to the daytime and nighttime. So it's kind of an interesting thing to point out. It's one of the reasons I love to start, somewhere around 20 minutes after 4 is when I usually I put in the time for the beginning of this game. So
it
I
does.
see that Chad is talking about the translation of this game. And I should definitely plug the fan translation that I'm using for this game right now, because people have been working on this fan translation of Telefang for literal years. And it's actually still not 100% done. We're going to get to a point in the run about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes in or so, where the translation suddenly ends. And we're going to be seeing a lot of placeholder text. So that'll be kind of exciting. But they've been working on this for years because the only other translation available is the bootleg versions of the game. And yeah, those translations are interesting to say the least. So this is a very nice translation. All of the battle menus are fully translated. It's just some of the story at the end of the game is not translated. So what are we doing now? We beat up all the guys. We went into the house. We should be kind of done here. But we heard from the Denjuu that lived in that house that there's like a martial arts master that lives on Ion Island. So we need to go and try to find him. And there's our phone call. Fantastic. So this area of the game has a ridiculous encounter rate. It is so high. So since we have a phone call right now, I'm going to use that to my advantage and try to get to one of the guys we have to fight up here. Because we had to get the martial arts master to pop out. We need to fight his 3 disciples. We just fought his first one. Here's the second one. Really, this is the third one. I do a one that's a lot closer to the first one, but since I got that phone call there, it was advantageous to walk all the way to this guy, because as far as I know, this area of the game has the highest encounter rate. So since that phone call allowed me to skip a whole bunch of encounters, I was going to take it. So now I have to make the long walk back to the second disciple guy. This is the third martial arts disciple. Now we got to walk all the way back to the second one. So I imagine we'll probably get into like 4 encounters on the way there, maybe even 5. Oh, a successful. How many successful runaways is that? Those initial runaways, like McBuffin. Is that 3?
Yes, I have 3 on my counter.
Perfect. Hey, y'all heard of that anime, Magical Knight Ray Girth?
I have.
Here it is. That's the inspiration for it right there. And I think I forgot to save Ray Girth's number, so we'll be seeing Ray Girth again later on. Here's another encounter. I'm really hoping that we run into Kurorin at some point in here, because that's a very beautiful Denjuu. Hey, y'all heard of that anime, Magical Knight Gil Earth, or Magic Knight Gil Earth? There it is. And now, oh, so close. Ooh, that's 4, right?
You got another one? Yep.
Sweet. Alright, so here is our final disciple battle. And luckily, these were Radas. If we ever see like a thing that sort of looks like a sheep with a smiley face in this game, we love to see that, because they have extremely low HP and defense, so we bulldoze these things throughout the game. So that's really nice. And now we can advance to there he is, the martial arts master. And yo, y'all heard of that? Oh, there we go. Another successful runaway. Very nice. Please walk over here. There we go. So the reason I walked to the right of the martial arts master over here, named Punkhoro, the reason we did that is because after this fight, Punkhoro's sprite has to disappear. And so it's a lot faster if we don't have to wait for his sprite to disappear to walk past him. So now we're already in prime position to advance to the next area of the game, which is going to be the lake. The one place in the game where we cannot walk on the water. And it would be really convenient if we could. That would be super sweet. So, how does this game look and sound so good, person in chat? It's not, I don't think it's that late of a Game Boy Color release. I believe it was the year 2000. And you can correct me if I'm wrong about that, Egg McBuffin, because you might have that information more handy than I do.
I mean, Natsumi worked miracles on the Game Boy Color.
Also true.
2000.
2000, okay, cool. And yes, this is Pokemon Jade. This, because specifically the speed version of Telefang was made into Pokemon Jade version, and the power version was made into the Game Boy Color Pokemon Diamond version. So that's pretty cool. And thank you, person in chat, for confirming it's the year 2000. I would say your name in chat, but my window that has Telefang open, because full disclosure, I am playing this on an emulator because it's very hard to get. I know, do not call the FBI on me and tell them that I'm playing a video game on an emulator. Please don't do that to me. But yeah, so I would say your name, person in chat. However, I cannot see your name because the window I have open to play Telefang is blocking the names of people in chat. I apologize. I've been busted. This is terrible. Finally, I think that was our first level up for Ornitho Gallum, which is kind of surprising. Usually I get one around Frisia and Baran, and maybe I did, I just forgot. So now we went and talked to this professor, this doctor, and he's doing research on the Denjuu, because that's what people do in monster collecting JRPGs. They do research on the monsters. But he told us, one of my research assistants is missing, and you go find him, and we just did. But that research assistant told us maybe the doctor is a bad guy.
What?
And so now we're spying on the doctor, and lo and behold, he's doing bad things to the Denjuu. And you know that you don't be mean to the monsters in a monster collecting JRPG. That is a huge no-no. You treat them like friends. So now we know the doctor is a bad dude. And so it's time for us to go and give him a piece of our mind. So we're about to get into the research lab dungeon. I usually don't run into Nigella, so that's kind of exciting. Nigella is grassland types. That's why I chose to do a secondary runaway there, even though I missed the first initial runaway. So in the research lab, there's going to be a few times where I'm going to save because there are several trainers in here that I can skip if I have good movement. And I typically have decent movement. It's not great, so I'm hoping I get some good movement. So Sugalai is grassland type, and since Orny decided to attack on his own, I'll just go ahead and finish the job here. Normally I would just try to run away from something I guaranteed cannot defeat in one hit. Oh, don't want contacts. I want to save. There we go.
Hey, DeJumbi.
Next. Oh, yeah.
Be sure to get the key.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me to get the key. Oh, I almost ran into that guy. So I can skip this encounter by just being patient, which I was not at first. I cannot skip this encounter. I cannot skip this trainer battle. Believe me, I've tried. And look, it's our old friend Licorice. So, all right. Here's Shellstera. So everyone take a good look at Shellstera. I'll pause for a second. So Shellstera, in chat, please tell me what type you think Shellstera is. Is he grassland type? Is he water type? Sky type? What type do you think he is? And then while you're thinking about that, yeah, water's a pretty good guess. Sky is a decent guess too. So Shellstera is grassland type for whatever reason. That's fine. I can roll with that. Shellstera, however, can fly. And fly, like in Pokemon, causes the Denjuu to fly away, and then you can't hit him while he's flying. Or they're flying. But Shellstera can do this too. And just you saw Shellstera. Why can that thing fly? So whenever we see a Shellstera in this run, we are immediately going to try to defeat the Shellstera first, because it flies away, it's just a waste of time. Unlike in Pokemon, flying does not do any damage. It is a pure time waster move, but that can be good if you call up a Denjuu and they're like 4 turns away and you need to just survive flying away so you can't get hit. That's a good way to stall. So unfortunately, when our opponents use it, it's not good because it just wastes a lot of time. So, and here, this is the place in the dungeon I have to get the key. I'll go ahead and save Ringo's number so he can hopefully call us up later. I did it. I got the key. This is fantastic. Oh, and that was a phone call that was not very useful, so that's kind of too bad. I would say we're at about like 75% of this game being translated. I messed up my movement there. I slowed down a little bit too much right there. So let me try that again. So wait for him to go down. Perfect. Okay. This guy you can also skip by just waiting. There we go. Thank you for waiting. And Vonda. We do not want a Vonda. Later on, we're going to want the evolution of Vonda, which is Ghidorah Kuma, but we don't want Vonda on the squad, so we're going to skip him. The nice thing about these little box puzzles is that as soon as that box starts moving, we can go ahead and move our sprite somewhere else, so it saves a little bit of time instead of having to wait and push the box completely to its destination. Gotta take this fight, of course. And this, I believe it's this fight, yes! Behold the most beautiful Denjuu. Garen. Just pure majesty. Unbelievable.
One of the run's mascots, to be sure.
Indeed. Along with, we're gonna get to Dipsacus in a little while, so that's our other favorite Denjuu. But Garen is the most beautiful Denjuu. There's no question about that.
Absolutely.
And we're actually probably gonna get a Garen's phone number in a dungeon coming up very soon, but not that one, unfortunately.
I saved the screenshot of a Garen calling me because I was so excited.
It's so beautiful. All right, so in this fight, at the end of this fight, we are going to have the opportunity to save this Drill Armor's phone number, but we're not going to do it because there's a very slight chance that later on that we'll encounter a wild Drill Armor. I'd rather save that one's number if I can. It's not a very good chance of that happening, but just in case it happens, that'd be cool. So, nope, not going to save your number. Sorry, buddy. Better luck next time. And now we are at the boss of this area. And here comes the doctor. Where is he? Hello, Professor. Oh, there he is. Hello, B. I see that you've chosen to join us here. And so here is his Denjuu that he's been treating badly. Octo Rifle. And this is our first boss in the game that we cannot one-shot. This is a two-shot fight. So shout out to my freshman year of college roommate, Mikey, whose nickname was Mikey Two Shot, because he always got 2 shots of espresso. So everybody say hello to Mikey in chat. He's probably, hopefully he's asleep right now. So he's also on the East Coast. But we'll show him the VOD of everyone saying hi to him in chat. He'll be very pleased. And with that, we're pretty much done with the lake dungeon. Thank you for saying hi to Mikey, my friends in chat. I appreciate that, and he will too. East Coast represent. No sleep. Agreed.
Yeah.
Although I've actually already slept for like 4.5 hours. I took a nap, so I'm not actually on that no sleep wagon. I apologize. All right, so we are now moving on to casually one of the hardest, not the hardest, but one of the most frustrating parts of the game.
Oh yeah.
Because there are two puzzles coming up that casually are just like you're basically fumbling around in the dark. The first one's not too bad, but the second one kind of is. So we are here at Panzus Village now, and there's no one around. Where could they be? Oh, but here's a friend down here. Hello, friend. Where is everyone? They've all been kidnapped. Dun 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 dun. Okay, so where are the people that have been kidnapped? They've been kidnapped by this I think it's Siope. I think it's Siope is his name. Here he is.
Yeah.
He has now appeared from the lake, and he's kidnapped everybody. And so, in a similar fashion to the seminal classic Superman 64, you know, if we want to get our friends back, can you solve this maze? And in that game, you gotta fly through the rings. In this game, you gotta go to these houses in a very particular order. So house 1 was over here. House 2 is this one. Now we need to go to house 3. And of course, he just tells you, like, go to these people's houses. And what houses are those? If you haven't gone and looked at every house before you talk to him, you have no idea. So, and here's our final house right here. We did it. We completed the first puzzle. The second puzzle is much worse. The second puzzle is a teleport puzzle, and it's really, even with the map feature of this game, this teleport puzzle is really, really tricky. So, and speaking of the map feature, I've never actually shown it off. So let me show it to you right now. Ta-da! Here's the map. As you can see, it's not filled in yet at all. But anyway, so we're gonna start this teleport puzzle now. Luckily, I know the layout of the teleport puzzle pretty good at this point, but casually, I actually, there is a guide for this game. Shoutouts to the folks over at Wikifang for making a pretty dang good walkthrough. But unfortunately, they don't have they have a map of this dungeon, but it doesn't show you like what the different, like where the different teleporters go. So I made my own map casually when I was going through this because I couldn't figure out where I was at all. So fired up the old MS Paint and oh, and I got it. I didn't see I was getting a call. So here's what it looks like when you get a call. And now we have the key. But again, fortunately, I know the layout of this place now, and it's a pretty consistent, obviously, pretty consistent way to get through this teleporter dungeon maze once you know what you're doing. So I know what I'm doing now, and I'm just gonna go to the places I need to go. All right, Rodanthe. Did I say MR Paint? I thought I said MS Paint. Maybe I said Mr. Paint. But I hope I didn't. Yeah, the wife of Mr. Paint is MS Paint, Mrs. Paint. All right, so we are now through with the teleport dungeon. So yeah, speedrun wise, it's really fast. Casually, it's really not. So here's our boss fight with, I believe it's Siope. Let's see if I was right. All right, cool. I was kind of right. That's probably not how you pronounce it, but whatever. This is another two-shot fight. So there's shot 1. So Frostbite, that status effect lowers your defense by a good bit. So we don't like to see that, but luckily we got through it. But we will be using it a few times later on.
Frostbite
now
lowers
we are done. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry about that.
Right, that's all good. This kind of mimics another creature catching game in that Burn will lower attack, but Frostbite lowers defense, and it lowers defense like significantly. I think it might even eliminate defense on attacks. So it's really, really important for bosses that are really bulky later on.
Yeah, in fact, I think it's the next dungeon where I will be, no, it's not the next, it's 2 dungeons from now. I will be relying on a Denjuu that has that can lower defense. However, we are getting really close to the Regalian naming incentive. So I'll close that donation off when I get to the next dungeon, which will be in like maybe 5 minutes. So if you want to name Regalian something silly, get your donations in soon. Actually, Dave, what's the dollar? What's the Regalian naming incentive looking like right now? I should say that.
We are currently sitting at one name, $11. Dip.
Oh, that's a good name. That's a solid name. So, people in chat, if you want to make me really sad, then donate $12 towards anything other than Dip, because that's a good name. Because if all goes according to plan, we will have 3 Denjuu that complete the name of Dip Sack Us. But we are 1 dungeon away from that Regalian incentive. So it's not this dungeon, it's 1 dungeon away from this one. So maybe instead of 5 minutes, we probably have like 15 or so minutes, 15-ish minutes until that one. So that's the one that's coming up really soon. And then there's a number of them kind of in rapid fire from there. So in this town, what's happening is that the entire town is populated by Denjuu except for 1 human. And that human is not having a good time because there was a group of humans from the Sineba Corporation that came through and messed up the antenna tree in this town. That's actually the dungeon we are in currently, is an antenna tree dungeon. Usually antenna trees do not get this way, but here it did. So all of the Denjuu are now understandably mistrusting of humans. This is also the dungeon where I think the biggest contribution I've made to the route of this game is in this dungeon, because I figured out that we can do some pretty fun skips on the floor coming up right over here. So I'm going to go ahead and save in case I mess this up. I'm going to try to do this all in one go. But the kind of the dark areas of the floor that you're seeing, those fall out from under you if you walk over them at not a perfect angle, and if you stay on it for too long. But luckily, we can walk right over them at the appropriate angle. There we go, and that skips a fight in there. And then last one, perfect. That was really good. That went a lot better than my PB attempt, actually. Or my PB run of this game, not my PB attempt. I've done many PB attempts.
You make that look easy.
Here's a great story for all of you watching at home. This Sunday, so like 3 days ago now, I did a PB attempt of this game to kind of get ready for the marathon. And wouldn't you know it, I missed my PB by 0.9 seconds. So that made me both very, very happy, but also extremely sad. It was as close as you can get. All right, so this antenna tree dungeon has a number of forced Denjuu encounters, and unlike a trainer battle, forced Denjuu encounters, these Denjuu will never give you their phone number. They don't like you very much, especially in here. I can't run away. What am I doing? And Egg is very good at explaining what the Denjuu say in this place when you fight them and then after you're done fighting them.
So pretty much every time you fight someone up until this point, after you beat them, they just say, "Arg, I'll remember this." But all the Denjuu in the antenna tree say pretty much, "I'm not gonna let a human come in here because you messed up the antenna tree." And then when they're fading away after you beat them, they're like, "Oh no, it was a misunderstanding. I'm so sorry." And every single NPC has a unique, different text for it. It's actually really weird that they decided to do that just in this tree.
That is very true. And now it could be, that was a poor time for a phone call because I immediately have to cancel it out to start this fight. That's too bad. Oh well. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of variety in what the Denjuu say after you defeat them, as well as the trainers. And part of that could be that the translation, the fan translation of this game is not 100% finished. So it could be that later on we'll get some more unique dialogue from there. Another thing that's kind of interesting about this game is that the trainer sprites, there's like 3 of them that just get recycled over and over and over again. And the one exception to that was that tournament that we fought in, like, however long ago that was, like 45 minutes ago or whatever, where there's a number of unique trainer sprites that are just unique to that area, and that's it. So, for whatever reason, they decided not to use any of those sprites ever again, just the ones that, or I guess the trainer portraits, I should say, not trainer sprites. Because there's probably even fewer trainer sprites. It's mostly like bald dudes with glasses. and that doesn't even match their trainer portrait sometimes. So that's kind of an interesting thing. All right. Oh no, I don't want to use anybody. In fact, I didn't mean to try to run away from this fight. This is a forced Denjuu encounter, and I believe this should be the last forced Denjuu encounter for this room. And I think of the dungeon as a whole, if I remember correctly. So that's pretty exciting. And so as we, it probably is sprite limitations. That's a good point, friend in chat. That's a good point. So on this floor, there are a number, you might have seen them kind of jutting out of the walls or kind of within the walls. There are these little kind of wooden looking things. Those are slides that you can go down to access certain areas. And here we need to go down very particular slides. So there's our first one. We need to go down the bottom one here again. Now, luckily, if you messed up, you can always, while you're falling down the slide, go back and forth on them. But now, once I'm down it, I can't go back anymore. So you do have you have the opportunity to to fix the mistake if you make it the first time, but not after that. Oh, and here's Reggie. We want to run away from Reggie. Please run away. There we go. Because Reggie, we cannot defeat in one hit, so it's a little bit faster runway. I need the third one here. And then I need the top one here, because otherwise I will get into a place where all I can do is fall through the floor, and that just sends me to the floor below. But here we are at the boss room of this dungeon, as long as I can get away from the Burnham here. Can't get away. Please get away. There we go. We were not ready for Reggie. That's true. All right, and here is the boss of this dungeon, and oh man, it's the other true mascot of this run. Thank you for reminding me, friend in chat, to get the key. This is one of the few dungeons where we don't need a key, but I appreciate you looking out for me. That's very, very kind of you. So, this is a beautiful Denjuu Dipsacus. What a magnificent creature this is. We love Dipsacus for many reasons. Its name is really funny. It looks like a cool pterodactyl, and every time we see it, we can one-shot it because it's a sky type. So that's makes things pretty easy, since Orny is mountain type, and mountain beats sky. So we love to see sky types in this game. And so now we are officially on our way to the dungeon where we will name Rygallion. Dave, what is that Rygallion incentive looking at like right now?
We've got no change, but I do have some donations for you.
This is the perfect time for donations. Please fire away.
Awesome. First up, we have $10 from Le French Restream. Hello again. That's us starting a new bid war to get Gaikachu for Takaroma. And then we have $12 from Chibi. DeJumbi is the best runner ever. I bet he's really cute in real life. Wink.
Chibi is my girlfriend, by the way, in case y'all were wondering.
Wow.
Shout out to my girlfriend. She's over here sitting on the floor watching me right now. Instead of sleeping. And we have time for a few more donations or some NAMI blurbs if you've got them, Dave.
Let me give you, how about this, a prize blurb.
Ooh, perfect.
All right, because right now you can get a Dragon Lord NES cart from The Countess. You can find them at twitch.tv/The Countess for a $20 minimum donation. So get on it, get it to win it. You can win it from between now and the Dragon Warrior 4 run later on.
Nice. Yeah, Dragon Warrior 4 is the next run after this, so this is a good time to do it. And I think as soon as I enter this cave, which we're going to be entering in like a minute, we'll go ahead and cut off that Rygallion naming incentive. Because we will hopefully run into Rygallion very shortly once we get into the cave. That would be ideal if we found Rygallion immediately. So, there we go. We defeated Kordos. Shoutouts to Dr. Neo Kordos, going to be in the new Crash game. Get excited. But yeah, as soon as we enter this cave, which we're going to be entering the cave like pretty much right now. Here we go. So we'll go ahead and cut off that Rygallion incentive. And so Rygallion is a very strong Denjuu, and he's grassland type. And since we are mountain type, it's good to have a grassland type on the squad to kind of take care of Denjuu that we normally would not be able to fight very well, i.e. other grassland types. So Gamazumi also grassland type, which means we can't defeat him very quickly, so we're going to run away. And hopefully, we will run into Rygallion soon. If we don't run into him soon, let's see. Is this Regalian? Nope, Scorpel. So we don't really care about Scorpel either. I'm sure. There we go. All right, let's run away. There we go. So here, we're going to do a save and reset exploit again to get around this otherwise forced trainer battle. Let's Telefang.
Let's Telefang.
There we go. All right, so we got around that trainer battle. Guess what? We're going to do it again. Save and reset. Luckily, resetting this game is really quick. So that's kind of nice to be able to do that. Makes these skips pretty dang easy. Now we're just still looking for Regalian. Oh, it's a Tessin. Okay, so Tessins, unfortunately, once you fail that initial runaway, you cannot, as far as I know, you cannot run away from these things. So what I'm going to do, I brought in Konzo, our other kind of cheating Denjuu, our other secret Denjuu that we have, to help us out here, just in case. Now, the thing with Konzo is that Konzo is uncooperative. His personality type, instead of causing him to attack on his own, he just straight up will not attack at all and just skip his turn. So Tessin used to be in the route. Like, we used to use Tessin on purpose here, but then I decided, let's just use Konzo instead. He's a lot better. We haven't found a Regalian yet, which is too bad. But that is not the end of the world. We'll use Konzo, and sure, we'll use Kordos. Kordos is close by. So Obana is desert type. And I believe this is also a Garen that we're going to run into here. Yes, it is. Gaze upon Garen and its beauty.
Beautiful.
We will save Garen for last. So Obana's desert type. So that means we don't have type disadvantage, which is nice. It's still going to be a 2-shot for those 2 Obanas. And we're just going to cross our fingers that Konzo decides to help out in this fight, because oftentimes he doesn't. If we had caught a Regalian at this point, we'd be using Regalian instead. Ooh, and Konzo is being cooperative right now. Thank you very much, my friend. I always knew that Konzo would come in for the clutch. And yes, I see the thanks Obana memes in chat. I appreciate that. I was hoping that some people would do that. All right, so because shout outs to old memes. They are classics. So now we will get rid of Garen, and luckily, because Garen is the last Denjuu that we're defeating in this trainer battle, Garen is guaranteed to give us his number, which is great, because now we have a Garen on the squad. We're never going to use him, but at least we know now that we have it. So we saved his number. No nicknames for Garen, though. And again, we're looking for a Regalian. Hopefully we run into one soon, because there's kind of a mini-boss coming up that having Regalian instead of having to use Konzo is pretty convenient. So here's the floor I like to call the puzzle floor, because, oh, there he is. There's Regalian. All right. Yeah, we'll use Garen after all. He'll be a meat shield for this fight. So Regalian is grassland type, and Regalian is also really strong. So we need to hopefully defeat Regalian before he gets any hits off. And if he does get a hit off, hopefully he will not target Ornn. He'll target either of the other 2 Denjuu we brought in here. And then again, hopefully... Okay, so he used a move that increases his attacks. That's perfect. Konzo's being useful. Even better. Fantastic. Give me your number. There he is. All right. Got his number. Save your number. And give him a nickname. Yes. So, Dave, what is the nickname for Regalian?
We're going to stick with Dip.
Man, is it Dip in all caps or lowercase IP?
Lowercase IP.
All right, sweet. And as you can see, Telefang is very, they're all in on the cell phone aesthetic. All right, there. So, there we go. So now we have Regalian. That's really great that we have Regalian at this point in the run, so we'll be able to use him on the mini-boss coming up, or the mini-bosses coming up, and he's more consistent than Konzo is, because Konzo's a little bit stronger, but again, Konzo, he doesn't attack all the time. So we fell through the floor there, because it sends us back to the screen beforehand. Oh, another Regalian. We don't want to see any more Regalians once we have one, because again, they're strong, and they can beat up Ornn and cause lots of damage, because they have type advantage over Ornn, and they're strong. So we're going to try to run away, and we did. Yay. Down we go. And so again, we fell through the floor there after we went and hit the button, because falling through the floor just sends us to the previous screen. It's a little bit faster to do that than to walk around. So that's kind of nice. And shout out to the Link to the Past style fall through the floor animations. Those look really nice on Game Boy Color. Gamazumi, not useful. We do not care about mouse with bird head for a body. Not a useful Denjuu. Ooh, a phone call that might be useful, maybe. Gotta be a little bit careful here. Don't want to go too fast. There we go. And we are going to save right here. Because this is that mini boss fight, or the two mini bosses that can be pretty tricky with Ornny. Because both of these fights here are against a pretty strong grassland type. And so, again, Ornny has type disadvantage over grassland types because Ornny is mountain type. That's how type advantages work in this game. So Ornny will do half damage and will receive double damage. So we're going to call in our buddy Rygalion here to potentially clean up for us if we miss an attack or something. And also, that way if Garrus decides to be mean and attack, which he did, usually happens, hopefully he'll target Rygalion next because Ornny can only take one more hit and he's dead. And Ornny's HP is going to be consistent between these fights, so he's going to start this next fight at half health. Whereas if Rygalion gets hit, which he didn't, but if he did, even if he took lots of damage, the next battle he would be back at full health because he's not our lead Denjuu. We're calling him up, so his HP reset. So here's the second fight. It's between Garrus again, and we're going to bring in Rygalion one more time. And again, hopefully Rygalion will be our meat shield. Hopefully if Garrus attacks, that he'll attack Rygalion instead of Ornny. That would be nice. Please do that. If you're listening, Garrus. Okay, Garrus used speed up. That's perfect, because hopefully that means he won't actually bother to attack at all. Oh, and he did it again. Fantastic. All right. This might kill him. It might not, though. Yeah, okay. We're close. But luckily, here's Dip to finish the job for us. Thank you for finishing the fight, Dip. So that's nice. That's why we like Rygalion there, because if we used Konzo there's a more than 50-50 shot at this point with his very low friendship value that he would just not bother to attack. And that would not only waste a little bit of time, it also makes that fight a lot scarier because there's a much better chance that Ornithogallum gets knocked out. And that's no good. We don't want that. And look, another Rygalion. We don't want that either. We're done with catching Rygalions. And yes, there is a little bit of desync between what I'm saying and what you're seeing on screen. It's probably like 2 or 3 seconds, I think. And that has been pretty consistent throughout the marathon. And that's kind of just a byproduct of doing this online. I'll try not to be quite as spoilery moving forward. I'm glad that you reminded me about that, friend in chat. So AlphaGhost is the evolution of Obana, so he's a slightly scarier, and yeah, that should be good enough. I think that we're gonna do a save and reset exploit here, and we should be behind that enemy sprite now, so we don't have to fight it. And we did it. Unbelievable that we did it. It's actually really consistent. I don't know why I'm treating that like it's a magical thing. Oh, good. Another Rygalion. Please go away. All right, let's try to run away here. Yay. Okay, good. Why, thank you, friend in chat. I'm glad that you're enjoying the commentary. Please excuse me, Scorpion friend. There we go. All right, we're gonna be saving and resetting here again to avoid this this forced encounter here. It's not forced when you avoid it. We've done it. So I think we are, yeah, this is going to be the last big room before the boss room, so that's nice. And, okay, so I don't think I can defeat Kurkuma in one hit, but Ornny's not going to give me a chance to find out. And, okay, there we go. Yeah, we cannot defeat him in one hit. Also, funny damage number. Haha. Alright, so we are on our way to... Oh, where am I going? Don't turn around like that. Here we go. We are now on our way to the boss of this dungeon, which is Gypsophy. And so after this fight, we are actually going to be coming pretty close to the next two naming incentives, which are going to be Berzelia, as well as Arachida, I believe, are the next two. So let me go ahead and start up this fight. So this fight, Gypsophy is a grassland type. And again, grassland type is strong against mountain type, and Ornithogallum is a mountain type. So we are only going to do half damage to Gypsy using Ornithogallums. That's why we're going to bring in Rygalion. He makes this much faster. We're also going to use our friend Konzo here, and we'll cross our fingers that Konzo continues to be cooperative, because so far, so good with Konzo's cooperation. So let's see what happens here. So Orny's gonna keep on hoofing it. Yeah, not a ton of damage here. Luckily, Orny is also very fast, so he gets lots of turns in before other people do. And the middle kick. Y'all are used to the high kick and the low kick in JRPGs, but the middle kick, that's a Telefang thing.
Very rare.
Konzo, very, very cooperative so far. Go ahead, Eggmuffin. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I was just saying that the middle kick, very rare.
Very rare, exactly. All right, so we're done with the mountain dungeon. So we are now going to be doing a big old backtrack here. So Dave, what are the naming incentives for Berselia and for Arachida looking like?
For Berselia, we have horse.
Nice. What's that dollar amount?
$5.
Oh my gosh.
6 or more, and you can have your funny name in there.
Yeah, friends in chat, all you need is $5.01, and you can make Berselia's name anything you want. You can even make it Dave in honor of our wonderful host, or Egg or Eggy in honor of our wonderful co-commentator here. The choices really are endless, except there's an 8-character limit, so it's not really endless, but something like that. What about that Arachida incentive, Dave? What's that looking like?
We're looking to find it right now. It looks like some technical difficulties means I can't bring it up at the moment.
Okay. Well, while that's happening, I'll kind of go into why we are capturing a Berselia and Arachida very shortly. So, Berselia is it's strong. So that's good. We like strong things. Otherwise, we would just use Rygalion if we could. But the nature of Telefang is that if you are far away from the dungeon that the Telefang you have is from, it's going to take them a long time to get to your battle. And so we are going very far away from Rygalion's home, so we can't just call him up. We can't just call up Dip and have him show up to our battles very quickly. So we're going to try to find a different strong Denjuu, and that happens to be Berselia in this case. So, and then Arachida. The reason we want Arachida is because Arachida has a move that can cause Frostbite, which lowers defense, and that's extremely, extremely useful for the boss of the dungeon coming up, which is the research facility. Dave, how are things looking at your end?
Things are looking pretty good. I'm still looking for that Arachida.
Yeah, do you have the Arachida information for the people?
I do not, because I can't find the bid for it.
Okay, that's quite all right. Let's see, what else can we discuss while we... And it could, maybe Arachida doesn't have any bids right now. My friends in chat, now all you need is potentially $1 to name Arachida literally anything. You could even name him anything. That would be quite a name.
Is that 8 letters? I do have some mechanical things to talk about.
Oh, perfect. Yes, Eggmuffin, please.
So I did notice in chat people commenting that whenever you're in a cutscene, there's a lot of jumping around. Normally, just to explain, normally in JRPGs, you have a character portrait, or you have a character's portrait, or you have like a name and a colon after what they're saying. In Telefang, people are jumping to indicate that they are indeed the person who's talking.
Ooh, that was another successful runaway. How many are we at now, Eggmuffin? Are you still keeping track?
Yes. I am at 6.
6, cool. That's so funny, because that's my class rank.
Oh, my class rank is also 6.
Wow, I can't believe both of our class ranks are 6. That is a terrible inside joke from when me and Eggmuffin were in high school together. So now y'all all know a stupid inside joke that me and Eggmuffin have. And it looks like a friend in chat has some information, our Berselia name, and I went the wrong way. Great job, Aaron. That's my real name, by the way. You can call me Aaron if you want to. It's okay with me.
Let's see.
can't run. Why can't I run away from Kororin? I guess I'll just defeat the Kororin then. There we go. Kororin is defeated. All right. Yeah, we are pretty much at the research facility now. So this is probably the best time to go ahead and cut off the Berselia and the Arachida donation incentives, if you don't mind, admin friends. And so what we're going to be looking for here at the research facility, what I'm hoping is going to happen, is that I'm going to run into a drill armor at some point between now and the first trainer fight I'm going to get into. And right now I'm running into Armaroos, which I don't want. And I think I've gotten a few more successful runaways. That's very exciting. But
don't
very
forget
shortly we're going
to get the key.
Oh yes, and thank you for reminding me to get the key. Thank you very much. That is very, very necessary here. All right, and another. That was not a successful initial runaway though. That does not count. Those are secondary runaways are pretty consistent. Well, not consistent, but they're not as exciting anyway. All right, so I'm gonna save here to make sure that I avoid this guy. Lo and behold, I did. Fantastic. And we are almost. Oh, there's our drill armor. So I don't want to run away. I want to ideally defeat him and get his phone number because he is very slightly useful in this next fight. So let's see. Let's see if he's forthcoming with these digits here. And this next fight, the next fight that we're gonna do, and yes, I do want your number. I don't want to give you a nickname though. This next fight is where we're gonna get our Berselia. So I'll go ahead and save here. The reason I'm saving is because we need. This is a trainer fight. And we will always get the phone number of the Denjuu we defeat in the trainer fight last. So we need to make sure we defeat Berselia last. The only issue with that is that there's always the potential that Orny will attack on his own and defeat Berselia without us wanting to do that. So we're going to hope that does not happen. So here we go. And you can see Konzo is very far away from this place. So he's going to take a long time to get here. So we're going to go ahead and defeat Bad Horo first because we can one-shot Bad Horo. Bad Horo, go rethink your life. Become good Horo, please. And we do not want to target Berselia. We want to target Wormatarala, which will take a couple of hits to take down. Probably 4, unless Konzo shows up soon. And Drill Armored tried to run away. Great. Thanks, buddy. You're a real friend. All right, maybe one more hit on Wormatarala now. And Konzo, thanks for coming. Thanks for being a meat shield there so that Orny didn't take any damage. We'll finish up Wormatarala here, and here comes... So this fight went really well. So, oh, and Egg McMuffin. So I'm going to pause here for a second because that DP meter under Berselia is charging up. Egg McMuffin, do you want to explain the DP meter and what that means?
Absolutely. So every single Denjuu in the game has 4 attacks. The 4th attack is always the Denma attack. And basically how it works is it charges up that little gauge. I think pretty much the gauge seems independent of the monster's speed. So the gauge starts charging up, and then the monster will do a special attack. And it's interesting because there's some Denjuu that basically you have really strong Denma attack and Denma defense, so they use totally different stats for calculating the damage. But I will pass it on over to Dave.
Yeah, Dave, what is our name for Berselia?
Berselia, coming in at $10, we have, I'm just going to spell it out for you, capital J, KRS, capital T, RCK.
All right, let me delete this stuff real quick. So can you spell that one more time for me, Dave?
Absolutely. Capital J,
Capital J, okay.
KRS,
Lowercase k?
lowercase k.
All right, cool. Let me switch over to lowercase. Switch over to there we go. All right, so K, R, S.
And then capital T.
Capital T.
Keyboard's making me cringe. RCK.
RCK.
Lowercase.
Are those lowercase RCK?
Yes.
Okay.
Shouts out to texting your friends on a flip phone.
R-C-K. Joker's Trick.
Someone in the chat suggested a Joker's Truck, which is just as terrifying, really.
Wow, what a great name, Joker's Trick. I wonder who could have done that as I glance over at my girlfriend who is cackling maniacally right now. Oh, that was not you. Oh, that's fantastic. All right, so here's the fight that we need to make sure we get Arachidus. We're gonna use Joker's Trick here, and we're gonna call in Konzo because as much fun as Drill Armor was to use in that last fight, he's really not that useful. So Joker's Trick is gonna now. Hopefully, Joker's Trick does not have a personality type that also causes it to attack on its own. So we're off to a good start. Where Ornithogallum did not attack Arachida on its own because Arachida can take 2 hits before he's dead. So we are very pleased so far to see this, or I am very pleased. Hopefully everyone else is too. The royal we is very pleased about the beginning of this fight. And it looks like Joker's Trick is also being cooperative, so that's very cool. Thank you, buddy. And there's Reggie. Reggie, you know, man, if you had just given us Mother 3, I wouldn't have to beat you up like this. But, you know, that's how it's going to have to be.
Oof. Oof.
Very, very close to defeating Reggie, and there we go. See you, dude. Think about your actions next time. All right, and so now all we have left is these 2 fights went really well. I'm really, really pleased with this. And I need to remember to grab the key after this fight.
Don't forget.
Very important stuff. And then obviously the Arachida name, I will need that very shortly here. Joker's Trick got 79 experience points. Very cool. All right. Got Arachida's phone number, save number, yes. Arachida's number, save, give a nickname, yes. Dave, what is Arachida's nickname?
The nickname is whatever you want it to be.
Whatever I want it to be. All right, fair enough. All right, I see in chat people want it to be Key. That's a pretty good name. I think I'll do that. As I drink a little bit of water. Very important to do that. All right. Key. I'm gonna even make it Key exclamation point. What a great name. All right.
Don't
Chat
forget.
coming through the clutch.
At least in this dungeon, the key has been obtained. Fantastic. All right, we got the key in more ways than one. We now have the key. And so now we are heading kind of back the way we came a little bit in here, and we are running into a Berenica. Berenica I cannot defeat in 1 hit, so I'm going to try to run away, and I did. Very cool.
Berenica can also fly.
Yeah, Berenica also can fly. Ooh, and a phone call. Okay, so that means I'm not going to bother saving right there, because, yeah, that's a pretty easy fight to get around. This fight I have to take, though. Yeah, there's no way around this one. So we're going to use our 2 new friends, Key and Joker's Trick. And yes, the composer of this game is also responsible for the Castlevania music, friend in chat. You are correct about that. I quite like the music of this game. It's pretty good. The battle theme and the main overworld theme are really catchy, in my opinion. All right, so in this fight, Orny again is going to have type disadvantage over almost everything these trainers throw at us, because there's a lot of grassland type Denjuu in this game. So Orny's going to be able to take out Kyokura in 3 hits. Meanwhile, I'm going to have Joker's Trick attack the other Kyokura, because he's going to do, around the same amount of damage, but just trying to make things as efficient as possible. Yeah, it might be a little bit more efficient to do that. So I'll have Key attack this Kyoruka as well. He does a decent bit of damage. This Kyoruka will go down in 1 hit at this point. And I'm going to let one of the non-Ornithogallum Denjuu do that, because Orny does not have type disadvantage over Obana, so this should hopefully do, yeah, much more than half health. And then I'll let Joker's Trick finish up this Kyoruka. And now, Ornithogallum will finish up Obana. Farewell, my friend. All right. And we'll save Obana's number. We will not use Obana, but we're still saving as many phone numbers as we can. That way we get more phone calls throughout the game. That will hopefully cause us to skip more random encounters. This trainer fight, I am going to solo with Ornithogallum, because these Warudas right here, they're the same kind of family as those other sheep we ran into earlier. They have very low HP, they have very low defense, and so Ornithogallum can one-shot all of them, except when he misses, obviously. But now, see, I was telling the truth. He can one-shot them all. Let's see, what is the next naming incentive coming up after this? Is probably going to be... It's going to be Gunsel, I believe, is the next naming incentive, if I remember correctly. So
That's
if
how you pronounce that?
What's that?
That's how you pronounce that?
I think so. It might be. It might be anyway. It's something like that. That's how I pronounce it anyway. All right, so I went the wrong way in my notes. Okay, so over in this area, there are several like kind of little floors that we're gonna go through now, and a successful runaway. And I'm pretty bad at skipping the trainers here, but hopefully I'm gonna get these. I'm gonna be a little cautious here. So I'm gonna save just in case I do this wrong. It's really easy to skip this guy. I'm just really bad at it. And the next one, I am even worse at. So I'm gonna save. I'm not gonna risk it. Let's be safe here and save. All right, so I'm gonna be a little bit patient. All right, and that's why I save, because I'm really bad. I'm really bad at skipping this guy. Let's try again. Let's Telefang.
Let's Telefang.
All right, be a little bit more patient this time. That time I was too patient. And friend in chat, I agree. I think the NPCs in this area, the bald guys with the glasses, look a lot like the NPCs that you fight in the Pokemon trading card game, Game Boy Color game. That's a very, very astute observation, friend in chat. All right, we got a phone call, but I'm gonna go ahead and save and cancel out because this is a relatively tricky trainer skip here. So I need to follow this guy relatively closely, but not too close. I don't want him to see me. That should be good. And then I need to save and reset. And hopefully I am far enough along that when his position resets after this save and reset, that I don't get seen. And very good. Very good. Okay. This is the first, like, really tricky boss fight, in my opinion. Because this boss fight has... he has very high defense and very high attack. So, obviously, high attack, you can do a lot of damage to us. High defense means that Orny is going to be doing really chip damage until we can get a Frostbite off. And that's why we have Key here. Because Key has a move that can cause Frostbite, and we're going to also use Joker's Trick just to do some more damage. The other thing that Joker's Trick can do, he has a move that can cause Flinch. And flinching just makes the opponent miss a turn. So that's going to be useful. I'm also going to have Ornithogallum use Heat Wave at the start of this battle to burn Yarrow, and Yarrow's attack is now lowered a bit. And it looks like Joker's Trick decided not to take his turn, maybe. But at least Yarrow is charging up his Denma powers. That's nice. We're going to use Tooth Grind to make him flinch, miss his next turn. Do a little bit more chip damage. Then now, hopefully, Key will use Chill and cause him to get Frostbite. So far, so good. So this is going to do a lot more damage than earlier. So we should be pretty good at this point. I do not imagine, since he's charging up his Denma power, he shouldn't get a chance to recover from Frostbite in this fight anymore. So this was a very good research facility. And yeah, so you see now, Yarrow hits like a truck. So we are glad. I am very pleased to be done with that fight. Goodness gracious, fantastic. Yeah, that was a good research facility. Really good research facility. So now it is time to backtrack all the way to Tronco Village. And once we are... Tronco Village is the start of the game. And so once we're there... now we won't cut off the Gunsel naming incentive just yet. We'll give it a little bit more time, hopefully. But while we're walking back to the very start of the game... Dave, the floor is yours. Please, take it away.
All right, well, first, currently, for that Gunsel naming incentive, it is going to be Gunsnake.
Ooh. Right
now. If things stay the same, you need to get more than $15 in there if you want to change it.
Oh, man, that is a potentially commanding lead. Prove me wrong, chat.
Please, chat, prove us wrong. let's see. We have no donations at the moment.
Okay.
But let me tell you a little bit more about NAMI. We are, in case you didn't know, 1 in 5 Americans live with a mental health condition. And fewer than 50% of adults living with these conditions will receive treatment each year. Many factors contribute to this, including stigma, lack of access, and lack of knowledge and resources. NAMI wants you to know that you are not alone. NAMI gets it. It is here for you. Visit NAMI.org for more.
I think we have time for... Actually, before you give us another blurb about NAMI or prizes or anything, I'm going in a very particular way back to the beginning of the game. So I'm actually kind of advancing pretty far to where we were before. Now we're back at Iris. Now we're going to turn right back around and go into this teleport tree or the antenna tree again. And now we're at the second village of the game. That's a one-way teleport tree. And here we are finally making use of our ability to walk in the water. And behold, we're back at the start of the game. So we're kind of, I would say that this sort of begins that was a nice sound I just made. I'm going to say that this is still, we're kind of in the mid game now. We're almost at the late game. And now our friend Musha is telling us about the Divine Denjuu. And this is where the translation ends. So what could they be saying from now on? This is what they're saying. /0x, a bunch of numbers, /. That's what everyone's going to be saying from now on. So the translation's not quite finished yet. It will be soon, I think, but it's been going on for years and years. This translation is a work in progress, so shout out to the translation team. This game is basically 100% playable now. It's just, I don't know what happens in the story from here on out, other than kind of vague things. So... now we are on our way to Ixos Forest. So I'll say that we should probably cut off the naming incentive once we get to Ixos Forest, the naming incentive for Gunsel specifically. And that's gonna be in probably like, I'll be there in like 3 minutes. I'll let you know, friends on the admin squad. I will let you know when I'm there. It will not be long. Yo, I see people in chat are talking about Magi Nation. That's a throwback. I actually collected some of those cards as a kid, as much as I could. They were not widely available.
This game is definitely like a Japanese analog to Magi Nation, in that like it had a big launch manga with it, where Magi Nation had like a cartoon and like a whole bunch of other things. They were definitely positioned to be bigger media properties.
Yep. I don't think Telefang ever had a trading card game though. All right, we are here at Ixos Forest, so I would say this is probably a good time to go ahead and cut off the Gunsel donation incentive or naming incentive, and so that also means that the next 2 naming incentives are going to be both of the Potzel names. And those are going to be coming up in the dungeon after Ixos Forest. So get your donations in for those. I think both of those are still pretty low at the moment. So definitely, you have some funny names you would like those Denjuu to be named. Please be our guest. So here at the beginning of Ixos Forest, we're going to be using Konzo and our friend Dip again, because we're very close to their hometowns, or their home dungeons, I should say. And so we're going to be replacing... I'll go ahead and have Dip finish off his Berselia, I think. And yes, he did. Very good job, Dip. We're going to be replacing Konzo here with Gunsel very shortly. The nice thing about Gunsel is that Gunsel is Desert type, and so Desert type is type effective against all these Grassland type Denjuu that all of these trainers happen to have. So that's going to make these fights go pretty quick, and the other bonus is that Gunsel will probably not have a personality that causes him to just skip a turn every now and then like Konzo does. So 2 good reasons to switch out Konzo for Gunsel coming up here. All right, we're going to use our same squad again. Konzo and Dip the Rigalian. And here, this is the kind of the point in the game where you need to be like really good at running this game. And I wouldn't say I'm really good at running this game. I'm pretty good at running this game, but you wanna kind of build up your Telefang intuition and kind of know what's the most effective way I can get out of these fights in as few turns as possible. Because Ornn is gonna be only partially effective against most of these guys, whereas Konzo is gonna be about double effective to Orni when he gets an attack off, and then Rygalion is going to be basically double effective to Orni no matter what. So building up that Telefang intuition is going to tell you how to get through these fights in the most efficient way possible. And I actually made a slight mistake here while I was waxing poetic about Telefang intuition, because Barinica can fly, and we want to get rid of Barinica ideally before it flies away, because Barinica is also very slow. And so if Barinica flies away, you have just wasted a lot of turns waiting for it to land. So I'm now very, very thankful that we got through that fight without Barinica flying away. And again, the royal we are also very thankful for this. I speak for all of us here in chat. Ooh, a Ghidorah Kuma. We don't want this one though. So Ghidorah Kuma, this bear-looking guy with shoulder pads, he's a forest type. We're gonna be using him for the hardest boss fight in the game, which is coming up in 30 minutes or so. 30, 45 minutes, something like that. But we don't want that one. We want one a little bit later on that has better stats. So here is the fight where we're gonna get our Gunsel. So let me bring in Konzo and Dip for this fight. And now these Gunsels or Gunzaddles, however you pronounce these things, they're basically glass cannons. So they have very high attack, they have very low defense. So we do a lot of damage to these Gunsels, but they do a lot of damage to us. So we're gonna hopefully take out these things before they hit Orni too many times. That would be... Oh, okay, and there's our first attack against Orni. That wasn't too bad, though. Konzo is being cooperative. Thanks, buddy. And Rygalion has type disadvantage against these Gunzaddles, or Gunsels, so he does not do terribly much damage. He has enough to get rid of a Gunsel that's already in the red. Unless he misses. That's okay, buddy. Shake it off. You can do it. Although now he might be dead. Farewell, Dip, you sweet prince. We'll see him again, though, because luckily, Dip is not our lead Denjuu, and so that means that after this fight, he's going to be back at full HP. It's only Orni's HP that carries over between fights. Orni is also poisoned. Do you want to explain the poison status ailment for us, Egg McBuffin, and how very ineffective it is?
Yes, so poison doesn't really do a lot of damage, and it can also be removed almost immediately. I've definitely, while casually playing, had someone get poison and then the next millisecond lose it. So it's pretty much useless compared to how devastating being frozen and burned can be.
Yep, agreed.
But now we have another name.
Yeah, Dave, what is our name for Gunzaddle or Gunsel?
All lowercase Gunsnake.
All lowercase Gunsnake. That is a great name. So G-U-N-A-K-E. Gunsnake. That's a perfect name for Gunsel, because I actually, when I was making it, so I have, again, if people are interested in running this game, and I got a phone call, decent time for one of those. If people are interested in running this game, I think I put together a very, very good guide for this game. Granted, I'm the one who made it, and I'm the one who uses it, so I think it's nice, because otherwise I wouldn't be using it. But I think it's a really nice guide, and I actually refer to Gunzaddle or Gunsel as Gunsnake multiple times in the guide. So like I said, it's a nice guide. I made it on Microsoft PowerPoint, and it's almost like, you know, those old Prima or Prima's official strategy guides. Imagine one of those, but like significantly worse. That's sort of what it's like. So I think it's very user friendly, very beginner friendly. So I always use it when I'm going through this game. But it's up on speedrun.com on the Telefang page. So give it a look. Be the next great runner of Telefang, or really maybe the first great runner, because I'm certainly not that. Although the world record for this game is incredible. Like, it's 20 minutes faster than my PB. So be the second best, the second great runner of Telefang. All right, let's see. I'll go ahead, and I think I should be able to defeat Berzelia with Dip if Dip did not miss. That's too bad. And Orni is really taking a pounding here. That is very unfortunate. Yeah, you keep targeting Berzelia, I think. I think that's a good call, because I think you're going to get another turn in a second here, Orni, I think. Goodness gracious, Orni is just getting destroyed here, but at least Berzelia has now gone down. Thank you. And so that's unfortunate. So our Gunzaddle, or our Gunsnake, has an uncooperative personality. So he is going to skip some of his turns. That's unfortunate. It's not the end of the world, but it does mean that we're only going to be using Gunsnake probably here in Ixos Forest. I'm going to replace him as soon as I can once we get into the next dungeon. Also, what's the HP of Orny looking like right now? I'm going to wait till it gets about halfway through. You can see at the top of the screen, it automatically refills over time. So I'm going to wait for it to get like to 45, and then I'll save and start this fight here. Okay. There we go.
I have a fun detail to point out while we're waiting.
Oh, perfect.
If you remember old phone screens where you would get the backlight a little bit and turn off, if you wait on any of the basically any of the text box long enough, the light will go out and the screen will kind of look a little more gray.
That
really
is true. The presentation of this game is really good.
Mm-hmm.
They went all out for the cell phone aesthetic. That's a great time for a critical, because now that Gamazumi will go down in one more hit from Ornithogallum. Please stop targeting Orny. Target anyone else, if you don't mind. What did I just say? Gamazumi, this is punishment for not listening to me. There we go. Thank you for targeting someone other than Orny, this Gamazumi. Thank you for cooperating, Gunsnake. We're going to take out Berenica next, because Berenica can fly, and we don't want it to do that. See ya. And again, Gunsnake is doing double damage to all these things, because he has type advantage over them. Desert beats Grassland. Another great time for a critical. That was a very good fight. And sure, we didn't save that number. That's fine, too. Arg, I'll remember this. Me too. I will always remember this day. Here is a bit of a puzzle that I assume the NPCs in this area would kind of tell you how to do, but I don't know what any of them are saying, because the translation has not gotten this far yet. We cannot defeat that Togukura, or whatever it was called, in one hit, so I'm going to go ahead and just run away. I'll save here, just because Orny is still at relatively low HP, just in case this goes relatively poorly, since he has 2 Berzelias, and those are relatively strong. So let's get Dip and Gunsnake in here to help us out. And this is the last trainer battle of Ixos Forest, and so we have a boss fight coming up, and then we will be in the dungeon where both of our Potzel names are. So we're going to cut off those naming stones pretty soon, so get those names in. In fact, Dave, what are those 2 Potzel names looking like right now? Are there any bids towards those yet?
Sorry, my cat turned off my microphone. But yes, we have...
You know, cats are cool, though. That's all right.
For Potzel 1, we have Sack. And for Potzel 2, we have us.
Oh, that's incredible. We could complete the holy trinity of Dipsacus. However, Chad, if you want to ruin my day, you can do it. You can make it so that we do not have Dip, Sack, and us as the names of some of our Denjuu friends. Also, this fight is going extremely poorly. I think I'm gonna reset this. Honestly, this is awful. If Orny dies here, I will probably reset, because this is going about as poorly as you possibly can. And because Gunsnake has ignored orders twice in a row. Dip got flinched immediately, and then Orny is inches away from death. But now we may be turning things around, because at least that both Berzelias decide to charge up. Still can't get a hit on this one, though. Goodness. Gunsnake's still ignoring orders. Thanks, dude. I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to get rid of this Berzelia before he decides to unleash that Denma attack. So now that only Zadoon is left, we should be in the clear for this fight, but Orny getting dropped to 1 HP in this fight does not make me a terribly happy boy. Because it also means I'm going to probably stall a little while before the boss fight coming up. That does give our friends in chat a little bit more time to get in some bids for the 2 Potzel names that are coming up. They're coming up quick, my friends. So let's walk over here to our boss fight. And I'm going to hang out right here and wait for Orny's HP to go up a little bit. And watch, Eggman Buffin was right. The screen will pretty shortly here go from yellow to kind of grayed out. It should anyway. I hope I'm not wrong. Behold, I was correct, and we're gonna hang out here and wait for this to go up a little bit further. I'm gonna get to like 75, I think, is where I'll get to, and I'll save just to be safe. This is a marathon run. I don't want to be doing anything too terribly crazy. All right, we are saved, so we are safe. Here is our second fight with Kai. And so Kai, again, he has sort of the legendary Denjuu of this game, Gymnos. And Gymnos just isn't very scary. And in fact, I'm going to solo this fight with Orny because both these guys are really soft. So, hey, y'all heard of that anime, Magic Knight, Ray Girth? Have you heard of that anime, Egg McBuffin?
I think I have.
Oh, wow.
And here it is.
Yeah, there it is. And there it goes. It goes down in one hit. Gymnos goes down in 2 hits and does very little damage. So Gymnos casually can actually be really useful because it can evolve multiple times and become like a real powerhouse. But in the speedrun, even though I used to use it in the hardest boss fight coming up pretty soon, I don't do it anymore. It's actually a little bit more consistent to do bear strats, which we're gonna do now. So welcome to the Cactos Ruins. And right at the beginning of this, we have several trainer skips that are really tricky. So I'm going to save between each one. And I'm going to save again here, because I should have moved just far enough now that trainer will not see me upon saving and resetting. Let's Telefang, by the way. And yeah, I can get around him that way. So that was good. Oh, and there's our bear. Fantastic. So we need to capture a bear, and I routed the bear into the run pretty late in the game here, so like way too late for it to have a naming incentive. But people in chat, if you just want to throw out some names for Ghidorah Kuma, the bear, while we're doing this fight, please do, because we'll name it whatever you would like. And Ghidorah Kuma is a forest type, so we do not have type disadvantage over it, but it's pretty strong. It has a lot of attack power, as we can see here. It's going to do a lot of damage to Orny. And it's got pretty good defense and HP as well. So this is a 3 hitter. I see Burr, I see Yogi, I see Boo Boo in the chat. Those are all very good names. Eggbubben, I'll let you pick your favorite name out of all of those.
I'm gonna have to go classic. Gonna have to go with the Yogi Bear.
All right, that sounds like a good name. So hopefully Ghidorah Kuma will be forthcoming with its digits here. Let's see. Wow, you're strong. Here's my phone number. Thanks, man. Here's a cool thing. Once everything is safe again and people in chat, you go back to the gym, you should go up to people and say, wow, you're strong. Here's my phone number. Actually, don't do that, because that's probably would freak a lot of people out. Yes, we'll give it a nickname, and we're going to name him Yogi, according to Egg McBuffin. So let's do that. And so we will probably use Yogi a few times here in this dungeon as well. So that's the first trainer skip done. This one, I think, is the hardest trainer skip in the game, but hopefully I'm going to make this look really easy. Yay. Hopefully that looked really easy. This trainer skip used to be a lot harder, but then I figured out that you can just sit over there and wait, and he just walks away, and then you're done. We used to have to do this crazy thing where you saved and reset multiple times. And so we don't have to do that anymore, which is really nice. It doesn't save that much time doing it the way I discovered, but it's a lot easier, and I like that. Last big trainer skip here.
DeJumbi,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I do have a PSA for people playing casually. Don't try to do any of the save trainer skips for the trainers that activate if they're close to you, because you can corrupt your game's save file.
Oh, that is true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, if you do that and save it so that the trainer would recognize you or see you immediately after you reload the save, the game just refuses to load.
Yep. It actually has a unique screen for when you corrupt your save data. It's a picture of Fungus and he's knocked out, and it says your save data is corrupted. Please restart the game. And it's no fun to get that. You can also corrupt your save data if you reset while it's saving. Oh, and great, it flew away. So Kordos is flying, so while it's flying, I'm just going to try to run away until it lands, and unfortunately it's pretty slow. unless Ornitho Gallum attacks on his own. So trying to run away skips a turn a lot quicker than advancing a bunch of text boxes, selecting attack, and saying the attack missed because Gordos is flying away. So that's why I decided to run away there. I soloed that fight with Orni because all of those Denjuu were Sky types, and Orni happens to be have type advantage against Sky types. So makes that fight a lot easier that way. And this is a good time to cut off the first Potzel name incentive. If you haven't cut off those name incentives already, that first Potzel naming incentive, this is a perfect time to go ahead and do that. And let's see, I've advanced too far modes. There we go. Now I know where I am. And look at this, it's our friend Dipsacus. We love Dipsacus because Dipsacus has a funny name. It's a pterodactyl, that's really cool. And we can defeat it in one hit every time we see it. So there it goes. Farewell, Dipsacus. Let's get some 07s in chat for Dipsacus for just a beautiful Denjuu there. Not a fantastic time for a phone call. I don't actually know if that would have skipped an encounter at all, but oh well. Thank you for those 07s there. Much appreciated. So this is a forced encounter we can avoid by just being patient. We did it. We avoided it. We come back into this hallway later, though, so we have to remember to skip that fight again. Otherwise, it would have just been faster to take it the first time. Oh, and look. It's Dipsacus again.
Yes.
And down he goes again. The ones that we're always so pleased to see Dipsacus. And by we, I mean, me, Eggenbuff, and everyone in chat. Coming up is a forced encounter with a Ghidorah Kuma. And just this fight can go bad. It can really just completely wreck Orni, so I'm gonna save beforehand. And we're gonna fight fire with fire. We'll bring in Yogi. And we're gonna bring in Konzo for now. Konzo has been more consistent than Gunsnake has been. So we're gonna do that, I think, for this fight anyway. Since Ghidorah Kuma is not grassland type, so there's no reason to use Gunsnake. And hopefully, the worst thing that can happen here is Ghidorah Kuma sets up and uses Invigorate to increase his attack. Fortunately, he failed to do it there, and then attacks Orni, because that'll do basically all of Orni's HP, and that's no good. We don't want that. So, and let's hoof it. We hoofed it, and Ghidorah Kuma is down. So fantastic. And again, these forced Denjuu fights, those do not give you any phone numbers. So here's a really long room. This is actually the room where we will get our Potzel pretty soon. Not quite yet, but very shortly. It'll be the trainer fight after this one. So we're going to use Yogi here, and we're going to use Gunsnake here. Because Gunsnake has type advantage over the grassland types that this guy has. And then Yogi is strong and more consistent than Konzo is, so we're going to use him instead of Konzo here when we can. And pretty soon, our first Potzel is going to actually replace... He's going to replace Yogi for a little bit anyway. Yeah, I guess I'll target Zadoon first. Why not? There's Scorple. Scorple is not a grassland type, it's a desert type, so we'll have Orni start targeting him in a second here. There we go. Target Scorple. Does a little bit more damage. Still will probably be a 3-hitter, but we can potentially get just a 2-hitter on the other two since they are grassland types. So, Yogi, go ahead and Missile Punch Zadoon for me, and hopefully that will kill it. And fortunately it did. Gunsnake, please go ahead and one-shot Gamazumi if you don't mind. Alright, I clearly have a not very good Gunsnake here. But that's okay. That's alright, we'll roll with it. Now we're one hit away from Scorple and Gamazumi from going down, so no biggie. And there is that fight. Wondrous. And yeah, we'll save your number just to hopefully increase the number of phone calls we get here pretty soon. And at the end of this this horizontal hallway that we have just entered is going to be our trainer fight that can yield us a Potzel. And we are going to save before it, just in case Orni decides to be a naughty boy and knocks out the Potzel before we can knock him out last. Because we have to knock him out last. The The Denjuu that we knock out last is the only one we're going to get a phone number from in these trainer fights. So, as soon as I can escape from Pew Needle, I'm going to save again here. Because if this fight goes poorly, I don't want to get into another random encounter. That would be quite silly. All right, let's bring in our friends Yogi and Gunsnake. And this guy has a Shellstera on his team. And again, Shellstera looks like it's probably like a water type, but it's a grassland type that can also fly. So we're gonna get rid of it first, because that's just a big old waste of time. We don't like wasting time here. We don't like it when Ornithogallum misses either. Please don't do that anymore, my friend. At least all these guys don't do too terribly much damage. We really want to get rid of the Shellstera before it flies away and just wastes everyone's time. Go ahead and finish him off for us, Yogi. Thanks, buddy. Great job. Gunsnake can go ahead and get rid of this Kyoruko, or at least most of the way. I don't think his attack's quite strong enough. I was wrong. It was strong enough. So this is a good fight. So we have only Potzel left. Potzel, I think, just knocked out Orny, though. Yes, he did. That's unfortunate. Not the end of the world, though. Not worth a reset yet, anyway. But it just means that I'm probably going to wait a little bit to play it safe to get Orny back to full HP. Okay, now this fight is going relatively poorly. Please, somebody hit the Potzel. Please. Alright, that's one. And now Potzel is charging up. Yogi, my man, my main man, please decide to attack. Or please decide to hit. And rip Gunsnake as well. Okay, Yogi, it's up to you, my friend. There you go. Coming in the clutch. Alright, so we need our first Potzel name, please, Dave.
It will be capital S, Sack.
Oh, that's great. Alright, S-A-C. Fantastic. Alright, so we have our Potzel now. And that's a decent time for a phone call, actually. I'm gonna wait around right here until Orny's HP goes up a little bit more. I'm just gonna let it go up to like 30, because the next fight we have is a forced encounter with the Dipsacus. And Dipsacus can basically do like 2 damage a pop to us. And it shouldn't get a turn off unless we miss. And we missed, so that's great. Please don't miss anymore. Okay, great. Please don't miss anymore. There you go, buddy. That's why we saved before that fight, though, because that was a bit unfortunate with the luck there. Okay, so now we just have a pretty long hallway here on our way to the boss fight of Cactus Ruins. And now, this boss fight in particular is a little bit interesting because it is a boss fight that we have to lose. You cannot damage the boss at all. You always miss. And the boss, when it gets a hit off, will one-shot you. Guaranteed. So the ideal thing that happens in this fight is that we start the fight, we just do one quick runaway to skip our turn because we can't run away from a boss fight. And then the boss immediately chooses a damage-dealing move and kills us in one hit. However, the boss also has multiple setup moves it can do instead, and of course can charge up its Denma power. And all of these things waste time. So we don't want that to happen. We really want this boss to just defeat us in one hit, and we can move on with our day. So here he is, and let's see if he's cooperative or not. My last run, it was as slow as possible. He did 3 setup moves, then he charged up his Denma power it just took so long. So we are going to fight, we don't need any help, and we're just going to waste our turns by trying to run away. Unless Ornithogallum decides to try to attack on his own, and we will miss. Alright, there's a setup move, that's too bad. There we go. Alright, so there's that boss fight done. And we gotta take this phone call. Now, the only problem with that boss fight, obviously, is that he defeated us, and so that means that Ornithogallum now only has 1 HP again. And when you only have 1 HP, you become a bit of a sitting duck for random encounters. So we're going to cross our fingers that we run into something like a Dipsacus that we can defeat in 1 hit and is really not that scary, and that it's not a bear. Puneedle is also fine, especially when we got another successful initial runaway. Egg McBuffin, how many successful runaways have we had, if you've been keeping track?
I've been trying to keep track, and my counter is at 11. If
11,
anyone in
sweet.
chat has been keeping track, let me know if I am wrong. But I'm so far counting 11.
Alright, so we ran into a bear. I'm going to bring in a couple of Denjuu friends to be meat shields for this fight, basically, because I'm still going to just try to run away. Couldn't run away. How about now? Still couldn't run away. At least now it's charging up, so that's okay. Although now Orny's deciding to attack on his own, so that's too bad. Count 346. That would be amazing.
I wish.
And I would be significantly poorer, but NAMI significantly richer for it. But if I had 346 successful runaways, I would be so thrilled with that. That would be incredible. Although I also might be slightly underleveled for some of these fights. And by underleveled, I just mean I wouldn't be able to like one-shot things quite as easily as I would be able to if I ran away from all those encounters. Finally, we have a Dipsacus's number now. Very exciting stuff. Yeah, so now we're basically backtracking here to a room we were in quite a while ago. So while we're backtracking, Dave, please take it away.
Okay, I've got a couple donations for you. We
Sweet.
have $10 from Anonymous, no comment, but thank you for the donation. We have $20 from Dragonista. I don't think I could be a great Telefang runner unless I could play it on an old flip phone on the Tokyo subway.
That's what I'm talking about. Believe in yourself, though. I think you can be a great Telefang runner, even if you're like me. And again, don't tell the FBI. But even if you're playing it on an emulator. I also almost messed up here because I need to avoid this force encounter again. I did it. Okay. Please, Dave, please carry on.
In case you are wondering, the next run after this is Dragon Warrior, and there are a whole bunch of incentives for naming characters, which will cut off at the end of this run. So you have less than an hour to get those bids in for those incentives. So please, donate.
It is true. And in fact, we're actually getting very close to the second Potzel naming incentive. So if that second Potzel has any money towards it, we'll cut it off when I get to the next room of this dungeon. So like if you have any donations, get them in like the next 30 seconds for that one. This was a great time for a phone call because it prevented me from getting into any random encounters. Okay. Here's what, chat, I need you to remind me of something. When I hit those stairs that are right in front of me, please tell me to not move, as it's necessary to skip this next trainer battle. So please remind me to not move when I hit these stairs. Drat. That did not go well at all. I waited a little bit too long to move that time. All right, well, that's fine. We'll take this fight instead. All right, so we'll use Sack here, and we will use Yogi here. Oh, that's too bad. I should have saved before that. I was waiting around so long. Oh man, I didn't move for too long that time. That's embarrassing. See, y'all in chat, you can be better Telefang runners than I can. So this Papover, the basically Whale Lord here, it's really beefy. It's got very, very high HP. It's not too dangerous though. So we're gonna take out Ray Gotten first, since we can one-shot Ray Gotten. And oh yeah, this guy has a Regalian too. That's really unfortunate because Regalians are strong against people like Orny, who are mountain type. But at least our Whale Lord is out of the way here. And also, Sack can actually maybe one-shot Regalian. Yes, he can. Okay, good.
Nice.
Now we have a second Regalian, I guess. That could be convenient, maybe. Maybe? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think that actually will. I think I'll use that Regalian in the Sineba fight coming up, which is the hardest boss fight. And coming up here is our second trainer battle that we can catch a Potzel in. And so this is going to be Potzel 2 coming up here. So we haven't cut off that naming incentive. Let's go ahead and cut it off now. And we are going to use Sack, and we are going to use Yogi for this fight. And once again, he is a Shellstera. So we are going to go ahead and take out that Shellstera first to make sure that it does not fly away. And unfortunately, it takes a number of turns, but hopefully if Yogi or if Sack get a turn, we'll take out that Shellstera really early on. That'll be pretty sweet if we can get that done. Let's see what happens here. Shellstera flew away. That's okay at this point, except that Orny is now trying to attack on his own. That's too bad. But it does mean that we can go ahead and take out Kiyoruka here. There we go. And so now we just need Orny to not target Potzel. And Shellstera is still flying, so I'm just going to try to run away to skip a turn. That's not what I wanted. I don't want Potzel to target Orny. I also do not want Orny attacking on his own. No, don't do that. That's okay here. We just don't want to knock out that Potzel before we can knock out this Shellstera. We need that Shellstera to land. Great, and Orny is almost dead again. And Shellstera still has not landed, has it? Nope, it's still flying. This is not going terribly well. Shellstera, please land. Shellstera, for the love of Christmas, please stop your flying. There you go. Farewell, Orny. That just means we have to wait around a little bit to get Orny's HP back up for the next fight, but not the end of the world. Now we can finally finish off Shellstera. Unless I miss. Oh my gosh. It flew away again! Alright, I'm just gonna reset that fight. That was disgusting.
Sometimes it happens.
Sometimes it happens. It's not the end of the world. Okay, let's try that again. So anyway, here's the fight that we can capture our second Potzel. So if we haven't cut off that donation incentive yet, go ahead and cut off the Potzel 2 name incentive. We will use Yogi and Sack again. Alright, let's see here. So once again, we're going to try to take out that Shellstera first. And of course, Orny is going to attack on his own, so that's too bad. But as soon as possible, we're going to start trying to target that Shellstera. And Orny is attacking on his own again. That's too bad. But eventually, we're going to try to take out that Shellstera. Maybe the Shellstera will just be kinder to us, and it won't fly. And it looks like Shellstera is charging up Denma power, so that's perfect. So now it's not going to fly away. And so we're going to use Sack to... I think this should can knock it out. And it did. Fantastic. This is going so much better than the last time. I should have reset earlier, but oh well. Alright, so now we can take out this Potzel. And then we'll be able to name it. There we go. That was a much better fight. I'm glad I reset. Alright, Potzel's phone number, we will save it. We will give it a nickname. Dave, my friend, what is the name for Potzel?
We're gonna complete the set. Capital U, us.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we did it.
Sack us. Dip sack
Sack
us.
us. Oh my gosh, that warms my heart that we have Dip, Sack, and us on the squad. That means we only have one naming incentive left, which is for Basho, which is coming up pretty soon. It'll be after this dungeon, and then after the hardest boss fight in the game, which is the Saineba fight. So it'll take maybe 15-20 minutes before we get there, but it'll be coming up pretty soon. So now we're going to use our Snake Squad. We're going to use us. We're going to use Sack. We're not going to be using Dip, unfortunately, though. Dip, I think, is pretty much done with his usefulness, especially because we have a second Regalian now, which is interesting. I'm already thinking of ways to maybe reroute this to always use that, to always get into that trainer fight, to get that Regalian, to use it in the Saineba fight. Probably not useful. Probably wouldn't waste any time. Never mind. I disagree with my previous ramblings. This guy also has a Shellstera. And look, the Shellstera flew away, so that's too bad. We'll wait for it to land. Luckily, we have other things to target while it is flying away. All right, Sack, do what us could not. There we go. That's one Kiruka down. Now we'll start on the next one while we're waiting for that Shelstera to stop flying. And Orny is trying to attack on his own. You can't attack that guy, buddy. He's flying away. How about we attack this Kiruka instead? Fantastic. All right. I see a friend in chat would like me to reroute this for 2021. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe it'll happen. I definitely am gonna keep running Telefang. I'm actually, spoiler alert, I was gonna save this till the end of the run. This is probably gonna be my last run of Telefang for at least a little while, maybe a few months. I'm gonna put it down because I'm actually gonna go back to my first love, which is I'm gonna start speedrunning Legend of Dragoon again. So that should be enjoyable. I've sort of have speedrun Legend of Dragoon multiple times, but never like in an official capacity because I always cheated and used like save states and stuff just because I just wanted to do it for fun. So now I'm gonna do it for kind of for real. So, but yeah, Telefang and me, we're not done quite yet. We'll get back to it. Maybe have some new stuff to show you. I'm gonna save here because this next fight coming up could potentially go wrong. It'd be surprising if it did, but just in case, it's a marathon. It's a marathon. We want to be safe. So, Snake Squad again, Sack and us. Legend of Dragoon Pog, I agree. That's a good game. I like that game a lot. That was my first ever JRPG, other than Pokemon Blue. I guess that was really my first JRPG. Folks in chat, what was your first JRPG? Actually, Egg McBuffin, what was your first JRPG other than Pokemon if it was Pokemon? Because I think people around our age, which is like late 20s, probably most of us started off with Pokemon. What did you start off with, Egg McBuffin?
Pokemon, and then probably Dragon Warrior Monsters. Probably Dragon Warrior Monsters.
More monster collecting classics. I might have actually played Dragon Warrior Monsters before I played Legend of Dragoon, now that I think of it. Dave, what about you? What was your first JRPG?
We're gonna go with the same, Pokemon and Dragon Warrior Monsters.
Nice. I never beat Dragon Warrior Monsters until 2016. And just so people know in chat, I was not a kid in 2016. I was 24, I believe, when I finally beat Dragon Warrior Monsters. But I played it a lot as a kid, just couldn't beat it. I didn't quite understand the whole breeding monsters to like get them good. I was just like, yo, let's breed this monster to try to get one with a cool design. If there is a King of the Hill RPG, I need to play it. But I think my friend in chat who said that might be saying it in jest. I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's a King of the Hill RPG. That would be incredible. All right, so we are almost to where... Yeah, there we go. We got out of the dungeon without getting into another encounter. Oh, out of the dungeon. Really, we're about to go right back in, but here is our buddy Kai, who we fought a couple of times, and his Denjuu Gymnos. And I don't know what they're saying. I have no idea what's going on here, because all they're saying is, /0x, a bunch of numbers, /. But I assume it's something along the lines of, gee, Kai, says Gymnos, you're being kind of mean to me. I'm leaving you for B ! So now we have Gymnos' phone number, and we're not going to actually use it. I used to have Gymnos in the route for the Sineba fight, which is a boss fight coming up pretty soon. It's going to be after the boss fight in this dungeon. But then I figured out that it's not actually faster to use Gymnos strats in that fight. I used to actually switch out my main Denjuu to Gymnos for Orny, but then I had to worry about switching back to Orny later, because here's the thing, and we'd never had to worry about this in the run, but if your lead Denjuu does not have full HP, you cannot switch him out for somebody else. So that is not something we have to worry about here, because the only time we switch out Orny is when we have to switch to Noisy for that one cutscene. Otherwise, we're using Ornithogallum for the whole run. We never have to switch him, so that's pretty nice. Well, another Dipsacus has appeared. You know what that means. Time to get rid of him. We're gonna knock him out in one hit, and down he goes.
Now, DeJumbi, I do have something important for the chat that they may have asked for. I believe there are no more keys in the game. Is that correct?
It is true. We are done getting keys, and thanks to chat, and thanks to you, Egg McBuffin, I did not forget to pick up a single key, which I was almost guaranteeing myself I would forget to grab a key. But alas, unbelievable. Now we do have we have a key because we have a monster named Key. We have a Rakata named Key, but we also won't be using a Rakata or Key for the rest of the run either. So yeah, we're pretty much done with keys. I also have a pretty cushy estimate for this game. Oh, another successful runaway. Very exciting. I've got a pretty cushy estimate of this game, mainly because of a boss fight coming up soon. Not the boss fight about to happen, but the one coming up soon that you can lose like 10 minutes easily to this boss fight if it goes poorly. And often it does. So I am gonna save here. This boss fight is not very tricky at all, but you know, might as well be safe. It's a marathon. So this guy, Gola King, is the guy that one-shot us earlier. But now we have the power of us and Sack. And also the game is not forcing us to lose this fight, so we can actually win this fight really easily. I think it's maybe 3 hits between Orny and the two snakes. If the two snakes get turns before Orny, it might be 4 hits actually, now that I think of it. Because Gola King is also grassland type, so Orny only does half damage. But fortunately, Gola King is just not nearly as strong as he used to be. Still relatively strong, still does 70 damage. But that's a lot less than a one-hit kill, so we like that. And again, by we, I mean, me, everyone in chat. We all like this. And there we go, Gola King is defeated. And now we're gonna go talk to him about something. I don't know what. And now we are going to advance forward in the dungeon. We all like this, I agree. You know that meme, everyone liked that? It's like that, but real life. And now we are talking to this guy. This is the Divine Denjuu. And what are they talking about? I don't know. Probably something about stopping the Devil Denjuu and the Saineba Corporation from trying to awaken the Devil Denjuu, because that's what they're trying to do. We don't want that. We don't want them to awaken the Devil Denjuu. That sounds bad.
Sure does.
Let's let Orny's Orny's HP is already full. Okay. I was going to say, let's let Orny's HP go up while I drink some water. But Orny's HP was already full. So instead, I just stood there like a lemon. Alright. We are on our way to, by far, the hardest boss fight in the game, which is the Saineba fight. Also, I probably am going to get into a random encounter before that fight. Let's see what I get here. It's a Gonum. Okay. Gonum is not strong by any stretch of the imagination, but he's very hard to run away from if you fail that initial runaway, so I'm just going to go ahead and defeat him. And again, I'm going to be kind of safe here in getting rid of him. Now, after this Saineba fight, we're actually at the final dungeon, so once we enter the final dungeon, that's probably a good time to cut off the Basho naming incentive. Dave, what's the Basho naming incentive looking like right now?
Currently commanding lead with $25, B with 5 exclamation points.
What an incredible name. That's fantastic. Okay, so there's Saineba, the dude with the suit up ahead. And this fight stinks. So Saineba's Denjuu are all ridiculously fast. So they're going to take multiple turns before we get one. And he has this Denjuu that looks like a phoenix. Or, kind of like a phoenix, but with hands and arms and stuff. This guy right here, Gentiana. This guy's the bane of my existence, because he can very easily two-shot Orny. So we're gonna use bear strats here. We're gonna find Yogi. Where is Yogi? There he is. And since we caught a new Rygalion that's slightly stronger than Dip, we're gonna use this Rygalion, and he'll actually get here a little bit sooner than Dip will. So what we're hoping for here is that Gentiana targets Orny once, and he targets Yogi once. That way neither of them get killed. Alright, so he stunned Orny instead. That's fine, because he didn't attack him. Luckily, this Dipsacus does almost no damage, so that's also okay. That Iron Claw is what we don't want to see too many of, because we don't want Orny to get killed. Now, unfortunately, Orny is going to miss his first turn. This might go ahead and be a reset. Now, the other reason that we bring in Yogi in this fight is he's Forest type, and that weird guy Mayoran, or however you pronounce it, is Water type, and Water is weak to Forest. Observe. Alright, that almost got rid of him. Not quite, though. So I'm going to have Rygalion. You go ahead and finish off Mayoran. That's a pretty decent start. But unfortunately, okay, so Dipsagus flew away, that's fine. And if that kills Orny, then we're gonna reset. It did not kill Orny though, so we're still potentially we're still in this for a first try Cynaba fight. And it flew away too. That's unfortunate, but not the end of the world. We just need Orny to be able to take a turn. Alright, he's flying, so you go ahead and Missile Punch Dipsagus instead. And is Orny's just not gonna attack. That's fine. Okay. This is not going super great, but Orny's still alive. Okay, now they're both flying. And at least Orny didn't get targeted. Farewell, Regalian. Okay, thank you for not targeting Orny. You targeted Yogi instead. We are still in this. We're still in this. Oh my gosh. So that's not what we wanted. We don't want Orny to attack on his own and target the one that's flying. That is terrible. I'm still gonna try to. I'm gonna try to salvage this fight. Let's see what Yogi can do, and hopefully, again, Orny will hopefully get another turn before dying. He is inches away from death. However, no, he missed. Oh my gosh, this is brutal. So I'm still gonna try to salvage it. We're not resetting until we have to. Orny, buddy, just hit. Okay, well now Orny has died, so we're gonna have to reset that one. So that's too bad. That's what this is the main reason I have a very cushy estimate for this run. And in case y'all are wondering, like a good run for Telefang is like early 230s would be a good run. And actually, Dave, what's my time at right now? Because I don't have the stream pulled up, so I don't know what my time is at right now, and I didn't bother setting my own timer, which was kind of silly of me.
Currently at 2:28.
Oh, okay, so this is not terrible. This will maybe be a 240-ish run then. What am I gonna use? I'm gonna be using Yogi. Where did Yogi go? There he is. Okay. Okay, hopefully this one will go a little bit better. Hopefully Orny will decide to actually attack. Let's see what happens. This is definitely the hardest fight in the game. So Gentiana starts by flying. We'll take that, because that way Gentiana is not in any position to actually attack us now. So that's actually perfect. Perfect start. Fortunately, Orny's not going to be able to take out Gentiana in his first turn, but we'll go ahead and get rid of this Dipsagus instead. Okay, we got the high kick from Mayoran. That's fine. Gentiana's still flying, so that means we're going to go ahead and target Mayoran. Ooh, and a good time for a crit. Is that going to kill him in one hit? It is.
Excellent.
Okay, so you're still flying over here, Gentiana, but we're in a good spot. I'm going to have Yogi set up since he can't attack anyway. That should not kill Yogi. Yeah, this is much better than the last fight. This is actually going really well. If Orny hits here, this will kill him in one hit. And that's it. That is the Cynaba fight. That's not too bad for a marathon, a 2-try Cynaba fight. I'll take it.
Yeah, you get to see the good version of the fight and the bad version of the fight.
That is true. That's true. Now y'all know that I'm not pulling your leg. I'm not yanking your chain. That fight's hard. It actually is pretty hard. And this is probably the perfect time to go ahead and cut off that Basho naming incentive here to my admin friends who have the power to do such things. All right, we got a Gonum here, so I'm gonna just go ahead and get rid of the Gonum. I probably should have brought in some reinforcements just in case Gonum decides to get fancy. But luckily, we got rid of Gonum in 2 hits, so we don't have to worry about that. So what we are looking for in this dungeon is a Denjuu called a Basho. And Basho sort of looks like a big white dragon. It's actually one of my favorite designs in the game. And we're about to run into a forced encounter with a Basho. You saw I just avoided the forced encounter over there with another Gentiana. So this encounter with the Basho, this doesn't count. We cannot get Basho's phone number from this encounter because it's a forced encounter, and we can't get phone numbers from forced encounters. So we're going to use us, and we're going to use Sack. And Basho should go down in 3 hits. The thing with Basho is that, 1, Basho is strong, so obviously we like that. The other thing with Basho is that Basho also has a move that causes Frostbite, which lowers defense. And we're going to be fighting and he actually just used a move that lowers defense. So the reason that we want to get a defense lowering move is because the final boss of the game has very, very high defense. And so if we can lower it, though, that makes that fight so much better. So we are going to hopefully we're going to run into a Basho sooner rather than later. Now, when I was running this game on Sunday, where again, I missed my PB by less than a second, I ran into 3 Bashos before one actually gave me its number, and then it turned out to have a very uncooperative personality. So that was too bad. A wild Gonzadal appears, so I am going to just go ahead and get rid of it. I'm going to knock it out. But I'm bringing in some reinforcements just in case Gonzadal decides to attack, because I would like it to not target Orny if at all possible. There we go. Not too bad. Okay, so we're moving on here. And again, we're looking for a random Basho encounter. That is what we are hoping for. Let's see if we get it. This is a room I sometimes get a Basho in. Will this be it? No, it won't. That is a Waruda. The nice things about Warudas, though, are that we can knock them out in one hit. See ya, Waruda. Alright, now we are back. We're back on the prowl for a Basho. Let's see. Let's see if we get one. I'm crossing my fingers that we run into one. How about now? Nope, it's a Gonum. Well, while we're walking around and we're waiting for a Basho, Dave, why don't you take it away?
Can do. Let's get to donations. We have $10 from Mute Royale, missing some Digimon World 2 after hearing first JRPG.
Nice.
Let me quickly tell you, let's send out some thanks to the people involved in our foreign language restreams. Our French restream, which is twitch.tv/LeFrenchRestream, and our Japanese stream, twitch.tv/Japanese_restream. If those restreams can help you enjoy the marathon, go check them out and send them some love.
Yeah, seriously, shout out to the restreamers, because not only are they, restreaming the game in a different language, they also have to translate the things that I'm saying in real time. And I would never wish that on anyone. So I really, really, really want to give a big shout out to those folks that are doing that. Y'all are incredible. And Dave, if you want to keep on going, we're just walking, waiting to get a Basho. So please keep going.
Basho, where you at? But let's take a moment to take a look at what we've raised so far. 9,782.01. We're pretty close to 10,000. I think we're definitely going to hit it today. Maybe we could hit it in this next run.
That would be incredible.
That would be a wonderful thing to see happen. Also, we have one more prize available between now and the next run. It's a slime plushie by Creative Ellie. Minimum bid $5. Throw that in there. Huge chance to win a slime plushie. It is incredibly cute.
And if y'all were watching late last night, or I guess now 2 nights ago, technically, on Monday night, Creative Ellie was the one who ran Final Fantasy VII. So really, really talented runner, apparently very talented plushie maker. I did not know that.
It is quite adorable.
You'll notice that in all these force encounters that I'm getting into, that I'm just soloing them with Ornithogallum, because all of these things are Sky-type Denjuu. And again, Sky-type Denjuu are weak to Mountain-type Denjuu, which Ornithogallum happens to be. We're still looking for that Basho, so I'm still saying, Dave, keep on going. Tell us about some more cool stuff. And also, that means that people in chat, if y'all want to donate $1, Dave can read it right now. You won't even have to wait very long. Which is pretty cool. So,
right to the front of the line, and like I said before, I have a very low bar of standards, and even lower for charity. Let me tell you a little about NAMI, ways you can reach them. In case you want to find them on social media, you can go to Facebook at NAMI, Twitter at NAMI Communicate, Instagram also at NAMI Communicate, and if you want to go back to Tumblr, notalone.nami.org, or OK and the number 2 talk.org. Let's see. Do I have anything to say? Not yet. Chat, bring it on. Let's see what you got.
What are some funny things we could make Dave say? And here, we already made him say watermelon a bunch of times. Chat, why don't you donate with like your favorite fruit that's not a watermelon and make him say that fruit over and over again. That's pretty cool. My favorite happens to be bananas. I eat one for breakfast every morning with some peanut butter.
Nice.
I'll probably do that as soon as this runs over because I'm really hungry. There he is. All right, we got a Basho. So let me go ahead and fight this. So for Basho fights, Basho is also mountain type, so we don't have type disadvantage. So I'm just going to use the snake squad here again. Peanut butter is what I eat it with. Friend in chat who was saying with what now? Are there other fruits other than watermelon? Probably not. There might not be. So Basho, again, the reason we want this guy is because he's got a move that causes Frostbite. Frostbite lowers defense. He's also really strong, which you can see right there because he just did a whole bunch of damage to Ornithogallum. And that should be it. We're going to cross our fingers that this Basho is forthcoming with his phone number, or their phone number, her phone number, whatever it is. Wow, you're strong. Here's my phone number. Fantastic. Let's save that. And Dave, what is Basho's nickname?
It's going to be capital B with 5 exclamation points.
Oh my gosh, that is fantastic. So in case y'all are wondering what the deal is with B exclamation point and this run, so Egg McBuffin and I, more stupid inside jokes from high school for me and Egg McBuffin. And keep in mind, me and Egg McBuffin graduated high school like 10 years ago. We have a friend named Ben, and Ben is one of our favorite guys. And Ben's nickname in high school was B exclamation point, pronounced "or," and he really, really hated that because he also really just didn't like lots of attention, like undue attention being paid to him. So of course, when you have a friend that doesn't like it when you give them lots of attention, what do? You give them lots of attention. So B is a forever meme with me and Egg McBuffin and the rest of our friends. So whenever there's a charity marathon going on, we always try to get a character named B exclamation point. And so luckily we have multiple things named B exclamation point now. So shout outs to everyone that donated to make that happen. And with that, I think pretty much for maybe the next like 3 or 4 minutes, Dave, if you want to take it away, please do.
I will absolutely do that. So coming up next, we have Dragon Warrior. If everybody wants to get hyped for that, you have probably about 10 minutes to get in those incentives, because as soon as this run is done, those incentives will close. So name those characters. That's a lot of characters to name too. There's also some incentives coming up for World of Final Fantasy. A lot more characters to name in there. Get your donations in.
Yeah, and chat, if you want to, you can always name characters in other games that I'm not running. B exclamation point, just to warm me and Egg McBuffin's hearts.
You're going to confuse so many future hosts with it, and it's going to be great.
I can't wait.
Don't forget, if you are on the Twitters, if you are a fan of social media, go ahead and let people know that you're watching, Quest for Glory, Hope and Healing, with the hashtag QFGHH. And also, be sure to let everybody know about NAMI and their mission with hashtag Not Alone.
Oh, that was poor timing for a phone call, because the phone calls get canceled out every time you enter a new room. And it just so happens that right now we're entering new rooms constantly. So that was kind of too bad. We could have potentially avoided a random encounter. I'm running into so many Bashos right now. I wonder what the plural of Basho is. So for these fights, I'm just going to be kind of... yeah, so if Orny attacks on his own first, I'm just going to go ahead and finish the fight. Halo 3, finish the fight. But if I don't attack on my own immediately, then I'm going to try to run away. But since all of these fights I've attacked on my own, I'll just go ahead and finish them off. Oh, okay. that confirms something that I was worried about. So the Basho that we caught, B exclamation point 5 times, has an uncooperative personality. It sometimes does not attack. So that means that the final boss fight coming up could go pretty badly, because we need B. We need 4 to gosh, another one. We need B to frostbite this boss. And if he keeps on skipping his turn by ignoring orders, this could potentially be a very long boss fight. So I'm actually purposefully going to try to beat up this Basho and get its number this time. It's extremely unlikely that would happen. But if it does, I'll name this one B exclamation point as well, or 5 exclamation points as well, and use it instead in this boss fight coming up, because we would much rather have a Denjuu that is cooperative. And if B exclamation point exclamation point exclamation point exclamation point exclamation point is gonna sometimes skip its turn, then that's not a good recipe for lowering the final boss's defense. So let's see if this Basho is forthcoming with its digits. I would be shocked if it did. Yeah, it didn't. That's fine. So that means we are walking up to the final boss right now. There he is. I'm going to save here. Actually, before I save, let me see. Where's Orny's HP at? I want it to be full for this fight, because the final boss, being the final boss, hits like a truck. Does a lot of damage. And we need... Orny can only take 2 hits even at full HP, so we're going to wait for this guy to get all the way back up before we start. All right, almost there, almost there. There we go. That's a lot of damage. I agree. All right, here we go. Final boss time. So we're just gonna cross our fingers that Basho is cooperative, or that B is cooperative. So let's see, we're gonna use B. We're going to use one member of the Snake Squad, and since Us is first in our contact list, we're going to use him. Here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do on Orny's first turn, unless he attacks on his own, which luckily he didn't, I'm going to go ahead and Heat Wave Doomsday, which is a very appropriate final boss name. Of course that missed, which is too bad. Luckily, Doomsday missed as well. If I could get a Heat Wave off, it would just lower Doomsday's attack. And okay, so B skipped his first turn. That's very unfortunate. Let's see if we can Heat Wave him at least. Okay, so Doomsday is now burned, which is good, because that will lower his attack. As you can see, we're only doing like really chip damage right now until we can get a Heat Wave off on this guy. So B, please don't skip your turn. Okay, good. Here we go. Cross our fingers this hits. It did. Fantastic. So now this should be maybe 2 or 3 hits at this point. And I think unfortunately, okay, it just recovered. That's really unfortunate. So we're not out of the woods yet. Farewell, Us. Let's get some 07s in the chat for Us. Doomsday is with what he says. Okay. Come on, B. No, B, no! Thanks for those 07s for Us, by the way. Let's get a... Alright, we got that Heat Wave. Now we can only do chip damage. Ooh, I like that, the saluting emote right there. That's really nice. Please survive, B. Thank you very much. Please, no, B, why? All right, that just means we're gonna continue to do some chip damage here. We might just have to do this fight with chip damage, which it's happened before. Okay. All right, you're okay. What's more worth it? Is it worth it? Yeah, I'm gonna try to frostbite him, and it didn't work. So that is unfortunate. We're going back. We're getting chippy in here. Okay, that's a reset. Unfortunate. Not the end of the world, though. Not the end of the world. I mean, Buffin, I'm curious. When you were playing this casually, what was have you've beaten the game at this point, right, McBuffin?
Yes.
Okay, what was your squad that you used on this fight? I'm curious because in my casual playthrough, I basically I save scummed and used save states to beat this guy because I was not at all prepared.
I beat this game already, having seen you beat this boss many a time. So I had
Nice.
a Basho, I had my Fungus, which I evolved into like a Fungo, and I can't remember the last one, but pretty much the same idea. Freeze it and then hit it.
Yep, that is a good idea. All right, let's see. So this fight's already not going terribly well because Orny's already gotten whacked, and B is still ignoring orders. This is why I have a nice cushy estimate for this game. Remember, a good run of this game is like in the early 230s. What are we at right now on time, Dave or Egg McBuffin, whoever can see this, whoever can see my timer, I guess.
I got 247.
Okay. We'll still be underestimate then. We should be, unless this fight continues to go this poorly. Let's see. All right, B, don't fail me now, my friend. 248. Thank you very much for that in chat. I appreciate it. We just need a little slightly better luck than we've been getting, and we'll be home free here. Oh, it's charging. That's actually perfect. So it's not going to attack for quite a while now. All right, your B is still ignoring orders. It's very unfortunate. All right. We're just going to do some chip damage in the meantime. Oh, man. B is still ignoring orders. Great. Okay. What I'm going to hope is that when Doomsday finishes charging up his Denma power, that he targets us, because I can afford to lose us. I cannot afford to lose Orny or especially B exclamation point, as much as B exclamation point's not being very convenient. So that's perfect. Us got targeted. Okay. All right, B is finally being cooperative. Please hit. Fantastic. Okay, hopefully we are home free at this point. Hopefully, Orny should hopefully get 2 hits in now. And that, my friends, is the final boss. So time is not quite yet. Time is going to be when the screen fades to white for the credits, which is in like 30 seconds. So this is, I guess, a perfect time to do some shout-outs because we're pretty much finished up here. First of all, big shout-out to Egg McBuffin, my friend I think we've known each other at least since like 6th grade, maybe longer than that. So big shout-outs to Egg McBuffin. He's the man. Give him a follow. That's time, by the way. Shout-outs to my friend Dirty Dan for getting me into speedrunning a few years ago, getting me started to watching GDQ, and shout-out to the RPG Limit Break channel for having us, for Questing for Glory, for having me and Egg McBuffin on here. Really appreciate getting the chance to show off Telefang. Let's see, what else? Shout-outs to my friend Powerful Ben for also being a really sweet, cool speedrunning buddy. And shoutouts to NAMI for being a really, really incredible charity. Cannot stress that enough. It's fantastic. Egg McBuffin, what shoutouts do you got?
Definitely shout out DeJumbi, who just did this wonderful run. Definitely give DeJumbi a follow. Thank you very much for having me. Shoutouts to the chat. Very wonderful all night. Keeping up the energy. Shouts out to Professor Palmer. Kind of gave us our first shot in our first marathon. Definitely a big shout out.
That is true. That is true. Definitely big shout outs to Professor Palmer for giving us our shot with the Mega Man Sprite game series.
And yeah, shout out to everyone in the chat. I'm dropping some deets. If you want to give this game a closer look, hit up the WikiFang, hit up the guide that DeJumbi made. It's a really fun game. It's enjoyable to play fast, play slow. And big shout outs to everyone in Questing for Glory for making this possible.
Absolutely. Shouts to Dave for being a great host for this run, and for all the admins and tech people for making us look and sound really good. We appreciate it. But I think with that, unless you got anything else to say, I think we're all set here. Shoutouts to the translation team for this game too, for putting in all that hard work. And I think with that, I'm out. Thanks for having us.
Good.
like they said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, chat. Shout out to the runners and everybody else. And we appreciate you being here. Stick around for Dragon Warrior 4 by the Countess coming up next. And let's have a great marathon.